Hello. Hello. Is this microphone working? Okay, it's working now. All right. Sorry about that. I messed up the intro, but I'll do it again because I don't care. Hello. 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 All right, we're good. We're good. All right. Technical difficulties with the mic. As you can see, they're battery powered. This one was dead. All right. So let's do it again after 2.5 minutes of live. Manchester United, Benjamin Sesko. Here we go. We got our striker. I'm hyped. I'm happy. We've revamped the striker, or the attack, I should say. And yeah, we're gonna get into the deal. We're gonna get into the details of the deal. We also have some other Manchester United news surrounding like Alejandro Garnacho, and a couple other players. So we're gonna do all of that. Before we do, can you please smash the like button? Make sure you smash the like button because it is greatly important to the channel and it helps the channel grow. So if you enjoyed the content, please make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new and you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe and also make sure that you turn on the notification bell icon so you never miss a live. We are still on holiday settings, as you can see. This is not a normal background for anybody that's new. And if you're watching the show after it's gone live, get in the comments underneath. Give us thoughts and opinions on maybe something I said, or however you guys are feeling. But yeah, enough of that though. Let's get into, and shout out to the chat, whoever's here. I see Lyle's here and Hesty's here. I will be with you guys in a minute. I have to go over to the news so we can do the news. So let's just go. All right, no more mic. No more mic. Do we have the sound? Is the sound back? All right, we're gonna have to do it like this. I don't know what's going on with the mics. I don't think they charged, so they died. Anyway, so the light go off. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be charged. I mean, it is a cheap little box here, but I charged it, so the mic should have been charged. But we'll just do it with the bit of echo. It doesn't matter. What can you do? Temporary settings we're on. Holiday settings. It is what it is. But as I was saying, Fabrizio came through with the here we go and told us the add-ons for Benjamin Sesko deal will be very easy to reach, as RB Leipzig wanted. Manchester United will pay 76.5 million euros fee plus 8.5 million euros in very easy add-ons, bringing the package up to 85 million euros, almost guaranteed. Sesko ready to fly to Manchester United. And Ben Jacobs also coming through. I think David Ornstein was the one that called this first, though. Ben Jacobs saying United reached an agreement in principle with Leipzig for Sesko. Same details with that. Sesko given permission to travel ahead of signing a 5-year contract. Vivel, key part of the deal. Now, this is what I wanted to say. Because I was on socials the other day, and I did give Vivel a big up. Because, I mean, I said a while ago at one point that I do think and I do believe that Vivel is probably the best footballing person we have at the football club at the current moment in time. I think in terms of, player identification, talent identification, I think I rate him probably the highest. I know he's not, in the highest in the order in the hierarchy, but if you look at the work he did when he was at Red Bull, and you look at the players that he, bring in and he's scouted. I think he's probably the best one. I rate him higher than Jason Wilcox, and whoever else we have. I think he's brilliant. And like I always choose to try and do, we got to be fair. And I know a lot of people, aren't happy with a lot of the things that Ineos did, but we try to be even-handed here. Criticize them when need be, but listen. They bring him in, and they have chosen to listen to him, and they have given him like an important like position at the football club, and this is obviously his deal. It's his player. He had a key part. Ben Jacobs reporting Christopher Vell a key part of the deal to Manchester. And rightfully so. So I think the hierarchy, such as like Sir Jim and Co and the rest, and Barada example, for bringing somebody in like Vivell and adding him to the hierarchy setup and actually giving him, actually listening to him and giving him some power and believing in him, I think it was a very good move. And hopefully it comes to pay off, as we go down. I'm very excited by this deal. I think it makes a world of difference. I know anything can happen because it's real life, and football. We know football. And Lyle's telling me there's an Ornstein tweet about Garnacho. Okay, good. We'll get to that because we're gonna go through the SESKO stuff kind of quick because I think everybody's a little bit caught up. But listen, I don't know about you guys, but I am a bit hyped right now. It gives you a different feeling, man. It gives you a different feeling about the squad, especially with the news about Baleba coming out yesterday. This is what we, at the minimum, Manchester United fans, this is what we want. This is what we want to see from our football club. This is what we like. This is what Ineos had to do. I always said before we started the transfer window, I said this is for Ineos. This is kind of like a make or break for them. They can do something for themselves, but also for the football club in this window, in this transfer window. They have it in their hands to make the fans buy into them, but also their project. But they have to show us. And for a while, it looked sort of bleak. Because we only had Cunha, and we were stuck on Mbeumo for over a month, and we got Mbeumo, and now all of a sudden they shot out the gate and they've gone for SESKO, and as soon as we got the SESKO, within a day or two, we got Baleba as well, and then there's talks about maybe Donnarumma as well, or a new goalkeeper. So it's changed the. It's changed the feeling. It's changed the perception around Manchester United. And I think, just in terms of from a hierarchy standpoint, it's important that Ineos do this sort of thing. Give us something to buy into. Give us something to believe into. It's important. The squad will benefit from it, but also the fans. Have the fans give us something to actually be able to grasp and back. And I think we're getting that now. It's a little bit, late. I know we all had the standards of get the players in for preseason, but at the same time, if you tell me we finish the transfer window with these three players that we clearly already got, and then we get a midfielder, maybe we get Baleba, and we get a goalkeeper. I'm going into the season with even higher, hopes for next season, because I was feeling a bit worried for Ruben. But with that front three, you look at it, it just gives you a different feeling about Manchester United. It gives you more hope for next season, and we definitely need that. And I think it's important for the club as a whole. So let me just get to a couple pieces of news, then I'll jump to the chat, then we'll get into like Garnacho and a couple other players. So one of the things is they keep saying that, there's this so-called very easily achievable add-ons in the SESKO deal, but I haven't seen what they are yet. They haven't told us in detail what they are. I would like to know what they are. So Pletigol said that Manchester United SESKO medical has been scheduled and his flight has been booked. I apologize for the audio. I do hear it's a bit crackly, but there's nothing that I could really do about it. So what else do we got? I'm going through the timeline because when I was looking for it through the aggregator accounts, it wasn't coming up well. So we were missing some stuff. So the medical has been booked, and his flight has been booked. So that's also important because I said the other day, and I said, I was like, listen, we need to get the deal done, so that he's ready for Arsenal. He needs to be in the starting lineup for Arsenal, which he's going to make it, considering that he's going to do the medical soon. So James Ducker said that SESKO deal agreed in principle. As per David Ornstein, Manchester United have agreed to pay a touch more upfront now, which is £66.4 million, with a little less in add-ons, 7.3 million, although overall package has been unchanged and is still at 85 million euros. I don't know why they do that. Why couldn't you just give us the overall package in pounds? But yeah, and it's funny because Newcastle fans are taking the piss right now because they offered more money. And they did not get the deal, and he chose to come to us. And Newcastle fans, or the Geordies, as they call them, are having a complete and total meltdown, as they probably should, because it's been a really bad window for them. But I would like to just say to the Geordies out there and the Newcastle fans, haha. I would like to just say, haha. SESKO. There was a couple more key details that I wanted to get to. I just got to find them, so bear with me. So Fabrizio saying SESKO will fly to Manchester tonight with his agent, plan confirmed. United wants SESKO to complete his medical tests and sign tomorrow. So we could get the official deal by tomorrow, considering that he will fly to Manchester tonight and then complete the medical and sign the contract tomorrow. So we probably will get an official club statement tomorrow, which is good. Again, we need him in ASAP. Around 4.3 million pounds of the SESKO add-ons are easily achievable. Again, they keep saying that they're easily achievable, but I want to know what they are. By, define easily achievable. Is it appearances? Is it like him scoring 10 goals? What is it? What is it? I hope they give that to us, because I would like to know what it is. One of the things, piece of news, this is what I was looking for, a little bit more of an explanation, is Pletigol has said, to make the deal with Manchester United possible, Benjamin Šeško has agreed to waive part of his salary. He could have earned more at Newcastle. His agency has also given up a significant share of the commission to push the move to United through. And I mean, that's massive. I mean, clearly that shows the intent that Manchester United was top priority, and how much, I guess, he, respects the club, and views Manchester United as a whole, because he could have chosen to go to Newcastle. He was offered more money. Leipzig stood to make more money. And he's chosen to come to United because he views us obviously as the bigger club. I mean, we are the bigger club. The Newcastle fans don't seem to understand that, but we clearly obviously are. We are a worldwide football club. Newcastle United is not. What else do we got? There was a couple more things somewhere in here. I don't know why is the audio crackling like that? Waive his salary. Yeah, we got that. I'm gonna jump to the chat in a second. I just want to make sure I get all this. So yeah, just by the way, I mean he's 22 years old. And he just signed a deal with Leipzig last year until 2029, and we've signed him for 73.6 million pounds, including the add-ons. So I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good deal. And he seems like one built for the Prem as well. Let me get to the chat now. Let me get to the chat. Sound is fine. Sounds good. All right, cool. What are you guys saying in here? Ornstein tweet about Garnacho. I'm going to get to that after we talk a little bit. Lyle says, I feel the deal is a good one amidst the climate. Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think it is. Listen, you know, not everybody's going to be happy with it. That comes with being a United fan. We have lots of people, lots of opinions around the world. Some people probably think it's a bit too high. But for me, in that standpoint, listen, 22-year-old, he looks like a talent. I mean, he's tall, he's strong, he's fast. He has a good shot, like very good finishing abilities, whether it's with the head or with the foot. And I think he's one that seems like he's a bit built for the Prem. And just, you know, even with the potential at 22 years old, again, when you try to compare him to Højlund, they're not the same. SESKO at the age, basically the same age as Rasmus. I mean, SESKO has way more experience than Rasmus has when we bought Rasmus. So I think it's a good deal, and I think it's a good risk to take as well, because it is a risk. I think any deal is a risk. We talked about this a little bit last time. I think every deal is a risk, but I think it's a good risk. I think for somebody like him at 22, with the experience he already has, and you know what? Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it means something. But listen, Arsenal have been pretty good at scouting and recruiting. Obviously, they've built their team up to what they are now, even though they haven't won a title. But I mean, they are competitive at the very least, right? And this was their first target. So it gives me a little bit more confidence because they were looking at him, and they've done well in recruitment. And then also we have Vivel, and Vivel obviously knows SESKO. So I think it's one that I feel like it should work. Obviously, we all hope it does work. But I think in terms of a risk, you know, I think it's a good risk. I think it's one that we needed to take. And I think it's one that fits the project as well, in terms of a young guy. If it works out and he's like, you know, one of the top strikers, I mean, we've just sorted a striker for the next 10 years if it goes the way, you know, we all hope it does. So, Lyle says, well, we also need to remember Leipzig played SESKO deeper than usual, so with Cunha and Buemo, he should bang them in. Yeah, yeah. Is add-ons ever been published? Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are. I don't know if they're published immediately, Hesty. I don't know if they'll be published immediately. Maybe they won't be published. But they do sometimes come out. I guess it depends when. Tio is here. Tio Pedro. What's up, Tio? How you doing? How you feeling? Hesty says Fiorentina match this week. He's going to be announced there. So exciting. Yep. It's going to be good. David De Gea returns as well. And, you know, he'll get a proper... I assume De Gea will... I mean, he's going to get a good reception. But, you know, I think it'll be good. We'll actually be able to give him a proper send-off. Because we were never able to actually do that, unfortunately. I thought it was kind of a bit... It was a bit sad. It was a bit sour. It left a sour taste in my mouth, the way that went. But Lyle says, don't underestimate Manchester United. And that is the quote from Fabrizio that he gave, what was it, a few days ago or last week? And yeah, I mean, that's aged very well for him. Very well for him. And what a statement. What a quote. Now, you know what I mean? Tio says, what you think about Rasmus, keep or sell? Well, personally, I'm not against keeping him. If they sell him, I kind of understand it, but I've always had sort of the feeling that I want two strikers, like actually two strikers, like two legitimate strikers. And if he stays, I mean, listen, I know he's had 2 seasons, and the last season was absolutely dreadful and it was horrible. And the first season wasn't that great. It was okay for a first season, but it wasn't like anything like, you know, to brag about per se. But he looks quite hungry, and he looks like he has quite a point to prove. And I feel like I'd be willing to give him, this season to see what he can do. And also, I think I'm quite interested, or I would be quite interested to see, how now he should have maybe a little bit less pressure. Maybe you could argue more because he's got, SESKO to fight with. But I think in terms of, to bear the load, he has help. Maybe he could focus on his game a little bit more and not, have the immense pressure that he's had. And he was never ready for that. He just wasn't. So, but I guess it all depends on, what it means in terms of like, if you tell me, listen, if you tell me if we sell Rasmus, it means we have a shot at getting like a Baleba or somebody, high level in the midfield, then, I get it. And I'd probably go for it because I would like to see us end the window with a midfielder and with a goalkeeper. And if we do that, I think Ineos and the club have done exactly what they needed to do to give Amorim and Manchester United itself the best possible chance for a good season. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want a good season. We want to succeed. So, I mean, I know there's talks that, AC Milan are looking at Rasmus and they think that, they're making him sort of a target. And I guess we'll see how it goes now because it's quite interesting. I mean, Ruben has had some comments about Rasmus as well. And the way Ruben was talking about Rasmus didn't seem like he's really that interested in selling him. Now, I don't know, if that's maybe just because he's talking to the media and it's public and, he wasn't 100% sure if he's going to get a new striker or not. So, you got to keep the optics good just in case you don't get a new striker or SESKO, for example, and you have to end up using Rasmus. You don't want to bin him off before that happens. Now that it's happened, maybe things change behind the scenes. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually transpires now going forward. Hesty says, I held myself from watching Jordy's contents before SESKO. Here we go, because I didn't want to jinx it. Now I'm going to watch them. Yeah, I mean, they were talking a lot of shit. A lot of them were talking a lot of shit about us. They hate us. And a lot of them don't seem to understand anything about optics. It's quite baffling, actually, if you listen to some of them. They're really out there. Lyle says our negotiations are top notch. Well, we definitely have stepped it up, for sure. And we definitely have improved, Lyle, in terms of negotiations. And even, I mean, again, like now that we can start combining the windows under Ineos. Look at the players that we're getting in. Look at the fees that we're signing them for, and look at the wages that we're giving. It's certainly a shift. It's certainly different. I don't think anybody can really say that it's anywhere close to what we were doing before. It doesn't mean that it'll succeed, because it can always fail. But we definitely have moved closer to operating more like a normal football club than how we were before, which is good. It's a positive. So hopefully this goes well. I mean, this is like, this is United under the new hierarchy with their new manager, and this is their first window. Summer window. This is their first summer window under, the hierarchy with their guy that they brought in. So let's see how it goes. Nubis says, "Damn, son, live streaming 2 days in a row." Well, no, yesterday we didn't stream. We streamed the day before, I think. So, but I had to go live, and actually it worked out because I was out. I went, got a haircut, and then as soon as I got home, SESKO Here We Go came, and I was like, perfect timing. I was like, I'll go live, but I kind of rushed it. But we're here. We make it happen when we can. Hesty says, "I want Hoyland to stay as a backup striker. It's too risky playing SESKO every game." And that's why I kind of been saying, like, we need two strikers. I'd prefer to have two strikers. I mean, you never know. If SESKO gets injured, and we only have SESKO and Rasmus goes, what do we do then? Then we're back to kind of the situation we had kind of with just Rasmus. And, maybe SESKO has a little bit of, maybe SESKO struggles a little bit. And maybe Rasmus, maybe he hits a bit of form, and maybe he carries a bit of the load while SESKO is struggling a little bit, maybe the transition or something like that. I think it's always better to have more options than less options. You definitely want an abundance of options. So, I take it. Gray says, "If SESKO doesn't score 46 league goals this season, can we sell him next summer to get TCL?" No, why do you want DCL? We don't want DCL. We got the guy. We got him. Lyle says he reiterated again yesterday on the Here We Go Soon video. "Last week I told you don't underestimate Manchester United." Well, I guess he had some news. I guess he was privy to some information, Lyle, I kind of think. Because, you make a statement like that, and then you see what transpired after he made it. I think he had some sort of an indication that, hey, pretty much he was like, "Hey, these guys ain't done. They got more money. Everybody thinks that, we were out of money and we needed to sell to buy." And I think Fabrizio probably had a little bit of inside information. Guys, just real quick, can you please just hit the like button? Because I don't know if it updates on my thing, but I see we got 2 likes. We got 9 people in here. Can we get those likes up, please? And thank you, because it does help. So we need the likes to get up. Please smash the like button. Nubis says, "I'm waiting for the Baleba news. This is the most important transfer for United this summer. Without Baleba, United is just a top 10 team." Well, yeah, I mean, the midfielder, listen, changes the dynamic. You know what I mean? It changes the dynamic of the team. So whether it's Baleba, listen, the Baleba deal is going to be difficult. Brighton don't need to sell. They have money. And they're demanding 100 million, 90 million plus 10 million in add-ons, I see. So it's going to be hard, but I mean, kind of the fact that we just came out of the gate and did SESKO like that, I think, hopes are really high right now. And let's see how it transpires, you know what I mean? I think that's a very difficult deal. And just how much money do we actually have? You know what I mean? How much money do we actually have? Because I've seen a couple people saying that, you know what, considering that we're not in Europe this season, now would be the season to dip into next season's transfer budget more and spend more now. And I kind of agree with that sentiment, because I think, like many of us feel like and think and believe, this is one of our most important transfer windows, like Nubis just said. And I think the stronger we can make ourselves now and give ourselves a better chance to get into top 4 or 5, whatever it is, I think maybe we should probably, do that and go for it and see, what we can do. Because I think if you look at it and you say, we have SESKO, we have Cunha, we have Mbuemo. If you get Baleba and you get a goalkeeper such as Donnarumma, and you look at our team and you look at that lineup, that team is completely different to what we had last season. Plus, then you try to make the argument, or you add in, listen, Ruben spent the time from November to the end of the season learning the Premier League, learning the players that are still here at the football club, training with them. He's had his preseason. He has another game, but he's done the preseason. The players look leaner. The players look fitter. We're pressing higher. We're moving better. There seems to be a better understanding in the system. For the players that were with him last year or last season. So if you have that team, I mean, when I look at that team, like if you tell me we end up getting Baleba and we end up getting a goalkeeper like a Donnarumma or something, my expectations for the team completely changes. It's totally different. I was worrying that we're gonna struggle and we're gonna be somewhere around 8th or 7th with that team. I would say I expect us to be somewhere around the top 4 with that team. And I think rightfully so, because I mean, you just look at the talent that you put into that team. It's totally different, totally different. Hesty says Xerxes not a striker and he's a bit injury prone, and Obi's too young, but I think it's gonna happen. Hoyland is gonna go. Yeah, I think Xerxes thinks he's a striker, but I prefer him as the 10. I think he does a good job as a 10, but we have a lot of 10s. We have a lot of 10s. So I don't know, it's up to Ruben how to handle that situation. I don't prefer Xerxes as a striker. I just don't think he seems to be lacking a little bit in the clinicalness. Like, SESKO gives me clinical vibes. Xerxes doesn't, but I think Xerxes does very well in the 10. So I like him there, and I prefer him there. And like you said, I think Obi is too young, and I think he is, and he needs to develop more. And maybe Xerxes is a bit injury prone. I mean, he's gotten injured a couple times already, and hopefully he comes out of that. Hesty also said, Onana, this is the time to get us forgive you, drag Baleba to Carrington. Yeah, make one more phone call. Make one more phone call, Onana. You got one more job left to do. Call up Baleba, get him to, fight Brighton or something. I don't know. My friend Daniel Kassar said, Jane, that's my buddy from Malta. I'll be seeing you tonight, Daniel. Jane indeed. SESKO is here, or SESKO Jane. And just for anybody that doesn't know, Jane is Maltese, and in English it means they are coming. Don't ask me who's coming, because we don't actually know who's coming. Just know that they are coming. They are on their way. Lyle says United is definitely not done. Nope. I mean, it's in our motto, right? We will never die. Even though some people feel like the club died years ago, but we, like I've been saying for quite a long time. When you go back through the history of our football club, I mean, there's been multiple eras, times, whatever situations that we've been in utmost disasters. And we've managed to come back from it every time. So this could be the start of it. It's been a long 10, 11, 12 years, whatever it's been, of just mediocre or, crap. And this could be the start of us maybe making a comeback to actually being, something close to what United is supposed to be. Or greater. Box is here. Box, what's up, Box? Says, yo, Eric. And Box says, we can be higher than top 10 without Baleba. I think so. I believe so as well. I don't think we should finish that low, even with, without Baleba. But I think it would be a bit of a struggle if we don't get a midfielder. I think we need the midfielder. I think the midfielder is going to be key. And I'm greedy, so I would like the midfielder, and I would like a goalkeeper. I would like Manchester United to be as strong as possible. I would like Manchester United to go as hard as we possibly can. So it doesn't, for me, listen, I mean, getting Baleba like adds another level, and it's going to be, it would be insane. But at the very minimum, if it's not Baleba, just, get somebody that is good at the position that we need. If it's not Baleba, somebody else. But if they get the player in that position and the player looks like he fits and has the characteristics and fits what we need, then like I'm all for it. It doesn't necessarily have to be Baleba. Just Baleba is, a good player. So Gray says, I feel like we should buy an experienced midfielder, 25, 26 years old, for 50 to 60 million, and then go find our own Wharton and Baleba for 20 million rather than spend 100 million on a Baleba and Wharton. I mean, it's not a bad point. And we could do that. And I think we're trying to do that, Grace, to be fair, to a certain level. Like, I think we are, like, I think the club is trying to kind of, find our own Wharton or Baleba. I think they are working on it. I mean, you look at the youth that we have, and you look at the youth that are coming up, we have a very good pool. I think currently we probably have one of the strongest pools that we've had in maybe quite a good amount of years. The thing is with that, it does take time, and not all of them are going to work out, but it does take time, and I think that will come in due time. So we got to do what we got to do in the meantime while that stuff is going on in the background and developing. But I agree. I mean, I want the football club. I want Manchester United to be going out there and finding our own Wharton and Baleba for, these low fees of 20 million, rather than having to go to the Brightons or, to the other clubs and spending the 100 million on them when we could have gotten them for much cheaper. But in the current time, in the meantime, in the right now time, we got to do what we can. So, I mean, it's not a bad shout either. If you get a 25, 26-year-old for 50, 60 million, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily Baleba. If there's another person out there that they identify that has the characteristics, and can give us, a good five years, I'll be okay with that too. It's just that, Baleba is on the top of everybody's list, and people rate him very, very highly. So Boxes Grace should be our new director. She could be. She could be. Lemons should be the new goalkeeper and get Inacio next summer. I think next summer we'll probably go in for another defender. You know what I mean? Probably, most likely. I mean, we got to see what happens with Lisandro as well. There's a lot of question marks over him. And, for me, I hope Lisandro stays fit. I rate him very highly. I like him. I think he's a good player. And I think he has like a good attitude and mentality. But he needs to be able to stay fit. I mean, he had a very bad injury, back-to-back seasons, and he can't afford to have another one this season. So I hope that he has a full season, and I hope he doesn't sustain any major injury. And then we got to see where we go from there. But I think we'll probably be looking, in the next one. Obviously, it depends how the season goes, as well. So Nubis says he doesn't think it's a difficult deal. He said, I'm sure Ineos knew how much Brighton roughly want for Baleba. They won't contact Brighton just to make a lowball offer and get rejected. Well, yeah. The reason why I'm saying that, Nubis, is because I'm lost about how much money we can spend and what we have to spend. That's why. I mean, at one point I felt like I kind of knew, but now I just feel like I have no clue, like what's going on with the finances. I don't actually have a clue anymore. So when you see that price tag for 100 million, I'm just like, but how are we doing this now? you know, because I'm like, we just spent about another 68 million pounds on SESKO. I'm like, and we're gonna go spend another 100 million. And I'm like, where did this money come from? But I mean, I guess I guess we're in a good financial state because if we didn't have the money and it's completely far fetched, I think like Nubis said, like I don't think Ineos would, I mean they would roughly know what Brighton want, and they're not gonna like make contact with Brighton and Brighton tell them, yeah, 100 million, and be like, whoa, 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 we thought we could get it for 50 or something. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Gray says Xerxes in this formation is a 10. In a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, he's a false 9. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it plays to his strong suits, Grace. Listen, he's good at holding up the ball, and he's good at making connections as well. But definitely like holding up the ball and doing, give and goes. And that's why I like him, as a 10. If we were to play like a 4-2-3 or a 4-2-3-1, like you said, I think then he goes into a false 9. He's not SESKO in terms of like out and out striker. Like a striker like in and around the box, like a typical striker. So Nubis says Sesko's deal is actually the domino effect. Ineos probably thinking we really spend money on Sesko, might as well get Baleba and figure out the financial later. They don't want to waste one season. Well, yeah, we can do that though. From my understanding, I mean, we can dip into next year's summer budget because we're not in Europe. It's a gamble. It's a risk that you take. But I think if there was ever a time to do it, it would be now, because if we're not in Europe and we're playing less games, and we dip into next year's summer transfer window, and we go really really strong this summer, and we give ourselves the best possible chance, because I mean I think that's the best possible chance you could give to Ruben, and to the team, and it pays off, and we end up getting in Europe, specifically the Champions League, we're going to recoup that money. And also, if the team performs particularly well, we won't have to go crazy too much in the transfer market either, because we should have a stronger team, and we should have to fill less gaps, less holes in the squad. So we won't have to go as crazy as we actually technically probably have to do now. So Box says, can't we loan Baleba with 100% obligation to buy next summer for 80 million? I mean, it's possible. We could, but would Brighton want to do it? Because Brighton don't really want to sell him. You know what I mean? Brighton don't want to actually get rid of him. They want to keep him. So would they want to do that? I feel like they don't. I feel like they're pretty much just saying like, we don't want to sell this guy. Like, for us to sell him, you got to give us 100 mil. Like, everybody has a price, but they're like, they're not. It's not like they're actually necessarily looking to sell him. I mean, technically, like, could we? I mean, you could do a loan with an obligation to buy, but you need Brighton to buy into that. I feel like they're not. I feel like they won't buy into that. I feel like they're pretty much like, we want to keep him. If you want to take him, the only way we're doing it is if you give us the 100 million. And right now, we're not going to do a loan and then you give it to us next season. So Hesty says, we complete the puzzle this window, would be great, then go build stronger benches for next window. Yeah, I think that's the argument right now. So Lyle says Vivell was such a good recruit. He is. And, again, we got to be fair. Ineos has done some things that, aren't so great, and, rightfully have angered the fans and stuff like that. But I think with Vivell, they got it absolutely right. And, I've been saying we need people on that level at our football club, because we don't have them, or we didn't have them, and we need more. Like, we do need more. We need more people like that with, good experience, and also that are on a certain level in terms of when it comes to recruitment and player identification and helping build squads. We need more. We need more. I would like more, but Vivel, it's a good start. It's a good start. Um, Hesty says Brighton would make him stay one more year. I think he's gonna come next season. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Um, then get a bumper sponsorship deal for the new Carrington. Ineos Grenadier Training Complex. Well, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for Ineos to do something like that. I mean, we know they can do it, and they probably should do it. And that's the way around FFP and stuff like that. So let's see. Nubis says the only obstacle is whether Brighton is willing to accept installments or not. Also remember that Mbuemo's deal is under the last year financial. Only Cunha and SESKO are under this year financial period. That is... wait, how is how is the Cunha under this financial period? Because didn't we sign Cunha first? So wouldn't Cunha go? Wouldn't Cunha be under the last year financial? And then Buemo is under this year with Sesco. Yeah, Lyle said the other way around. I think it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah. All right. No, but we got what you meant. We got what you meant. But yeah, same difference. I mean, pretty much, it's almost the same. But yeah, I mean, that is true though. That is true. It's two out of the three that are only on this financial year. So, I mean, let's see. I mean, listen, if we're in for Baleba, we got money. We got money. I think Ineos have also kind of done a bit of a blinder in a certain sense, in that, I mean, the whole entire time before the window even opened, all we heard was that, like, you know, United will buy players, we will spend, but we will also need to sell to buy. I mean, we've signed 3 players for 60 million plus, and all we've done is loan Rashford to Barcelona and save 15 million off his wages. We haven't sold anybody, and we've revamped the attack already. So I mean, I don't know if it was part of their strategy or part of their plan, but it kind of feels that way to me, because we just got constant updates about how basically, like, they are going to look to do deals, but it's going to be a bit of a struggle in terms of that, like, we only have so much to buy with, and that we're going to have to do the sales to fund more transfers. But we haven't done any sales, and we've got a brand new attack. And then on top of that, as soon as we're basically done the striker, they come out with news that they're interested in Baleba for 100 million. So, I mean, if that was part of their strategy to kind of put the news out there that United are, listen, everybody knows that, like, we need to go buy and we need to, you know, revamp our team, and we need to strengthen, but United don't have money, and they kind of put that out there, then, I mean, it's smart. It's smart as hell. It's smart as hell, because they've basically done what they've done what they've kind of wanted to achieve. I mean, so Jim has said it a couple times, and I think we've gotten some updates about it, that, like, one of their goals was to stop this sort of United tax shit. This sort of, like, everybody knows that United has money, everybody knows that United is desperate, and it puts the club in a position to get absolutely ripped off every time. And it seems like they're succeeding in changing that dynamic, at the very least right now. So, I mean, that's a positive that I'll take for sure. Yeah, almost the same price. Yeah, it's good business. I mean, listen, we're staying on point. We've clearly had an idea and a budget. And I know people hate when I compare our club to other clubs, but it is eerily similar to sort of like when City started, and maybe that comes with having Barada, and maybe he's kind of brung that in when we bring him in. But I mean, when City started out, for the most part, they were buying players for 60 million under. They didn't really go over the 60 million for a large part of their building of their squad. In the beginning they spent a lot of money, but there was a period where they did, and it was probably under Pep, that they were just signing a bunch of players for 60 million less. And we're kind of doing the same thing right now. The way we're moving and operating. I mean, we're buying the players for around the same price. They're all getting around the same wage. The wages aren't crazy. They're not like, they're not like how they were. We're not giving anybody 300,000. We're not giving anybody 250,000. Mbuemo and Cunha are at 150, 160,000. So they're under 200,000. SESKO is going to be the same in the wages. So we are moving different, and hopefully it pays off in the future. So Hesty says Sir Jim found oil mine under Carrington. Don't tell the Glazes. Don't tell the Glazes. Sir Jim, don't tell the Glazes there's oil under Carrington, because then they'll never leave. They'll never leave. Nubis says, I think nobody really knows how much money United have, unlike the previous regime where they often advertise the budget. Yeah, probably, Nubis, because they were incompetent, man. The previous regime was incompetent. I think, listen, again, go back, listen to some of the things that Sir Jim said. Like, he talked about how, like, the management had no leash, how the management previous to them being there was just running around with no oversight, and they were, doing all types of weird stuff. And he pretty much was like, we're going to tighten that, we're going to change it. And even with the way that they deal with like the media and stuff. So I think that they are being smarter than what we used to be doing, for sure. Lyle has given us an update from Fabrizio saying, understand Manchester United are planning internally to unveil Benjamin Sesko at Old Trafford on Saturday, arrival tonight, medical, and signature on Friday. Well, that's gonna be great. Nubis says, I'm guessing Sesko won't play versus Fiorentina. Nah, I don't. Sesko, I don't think he'll play versus Fiorentina, but unveiling is good enough. And then we get him ready. We get him ready for Arsenal, and we get him ready for the start of the Prem. That for me is the biggest thing. If he's available and he's ready to go for Arsenal, and we have him in there in the starting lineup, or even if he comes off the bench, because maybe Rasmus is still going to be here, and maybe Rasmus starts because he's done the preseason, he's been involved, and maybe Amorim opts to go with Rasmus first. But as long as he's part of the squad and he's available, it's a huge factor. So Garnacho transfer should look good on the books too for this year. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna help for sure. No matter the price, United want 50 million. So if we get that, let's go. Yep. And I'm gonna go back into the news real quick, because there was some things about Garnacho, and there was a couple other things. I think there was maybe an update about Rasmus as well. So let me just pull this up, and let me see what we got going here. David De Gea has sent us a message, which is a video, so I can't really read it. So one of the other things also that's come out is that apparently Leipzig and United have also agreed to play a joint friendly in Leipzig as part of the SESKO deal. The match is expected to generate 1.5 million to 2 million euros for Leipzig. Have we ever seen something like that, where a friendly match is this part of the deal? I mean, it's coming from somebody named Philippe Fiends or Finze. So well, I don't know. That's quite interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of a transfer deal that includes a friendly scheduled. So Ben Jacobs has given us an update here 7 minutes ago about Alejandro Garnacho, saying Manchester United want £50 million for Garnacho, as revealed earlier on TalkSport. Chelsea hoping to drive the price down following the arrival of Benjamin Sesko, knowing Manchester United are now focused on outgoings. Yeah, see, the thing is, Chelsea, though, you know what? We should do to you what you've done to us and what you've done to everybody else, Chelsea. You got a shit ton of money. You've been spending money like crazy. And I would be making the argument that if, what's his name from Southampton is 50 million or 60 million, whatever they want for him, dibbling, there's no way you're getting Garnacho for less. I mean, Garnacho plays for United. Yeah, we've been shit, but he plays for United. He's done particularly well in terms of goals, assists, and stuff like that. And he's young and he's got potential. And also, you're going from United to Chelsea, so there should be a tax there as well. You know, just like you did to us with Mount. Mount had a year left in his contract or whatever it was. We still paid a premium for him. So, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, we want to sell him, but at the same time, also like Chelsea could also do one. You got money. They shouldn't be getting him for £40 million. You know, no, no. I would be trying to recoup as much money, especially because he goes on the books. You know, especially because he goes on the books as you know, pure profit as well. So the more money we get for Garnacho, the better, because it's just more pure profit. It's more pure profit. SESKO is expected to land in Manchester just before 6 p.m. British Standard Time. So soon. Soon. I mean, he is, you know, in Germany. It's not a far flight, so... Here we go, says Steph. Not here we go. Yeah, yeah. We couldn't hear. Nobody could hear. Here we go. HEAR. Yeah, that is correct. We're planning internally to unveil SESKO at Old Trafford on Saturday. Arrival tonight. Medical and signature on Friday. Unveiling on Saturday. That is what we are looking at. What else we got? Yeah, Pletigo also reporting this, that a friendly match between Leipzig and United has been agreed as part of the SESKO deal and expected to generate around 1.5 to 2 million euros for the German club. The agreement also includes a sell-on clause. So apparently there's a sell-on clause as well in the SESKO deal. So yeah, interesting. There's also an update. I know, because this, I mean, I know it doesn't directly impact United, but considering that this player is linked with our biggest rival, Liverpool, Ben Jacobs has said that understand that Newcastle's failure to sign SESKO does not affect the Alexander Isak situation. Newcastle have other attackers in mind, and Newcastle's feeling remains Isak must be sold or extend with no middle ground. Isak has to date shown no willingness to extend. So this doesn't, in terms of the potential Isak going to Liverpool deal, apparently has no bearing and no effect at all. And he is still very much wants to go to Liverpool and still wants to leave Newcastle. So yeah, I mean, I hope somehow it just doesn't happen, because I mean, if they get Isak, that's kind of wild, considering that they already won the league, and then what they're adding to their team is kind of crazy. kind of crazy. Yeah, David Ornstein also saying that Chelsea have stepped up talks with United over a deal to sign Garnacho. Talks now progressing, especially with Sesko set to join United. Garnacho prefers Chelsea or nothing and expects the move to go through. Um, and that's David Ornstein. And people are saying that basically, if this Garnacho deal goes through, that's the Baleba fund loading pretty much. Which kind of makes sense because I mean, listen, if we sell Garnacho for about 50 million and he's pure profit, I'm pretty sure the way it works off of that is just off the sale of Garnacho, we could probably do the Baleba deal. So I don't know. I mean, let's see. I hope so. I mean, that'd be crazy if we do that. And Fabrizio also again, because I know people are on Isaac watch. Fabrizio just saying Liverpool maintain their focus on Isaac for the final weeks of the summer. New proposal ready to be submitted if Newcastle opens door to the move. Isaac maintains his position. He doesn't want to play or stay at Newcastle. He wants to leave and join. Yeah, that's. I hope that doesn't. I hope it doesn't work out, man. I really, really, really hope it doesn't work out. Yeah, Manchester United want £50 million to sell Garnacho. Would you guys be happy with £50 million, or do you think that we should be getting more? Do you think that we should be asking for like 60? Considering that it's going to be Chelsea, and he's going to be in the Prem, and he's going to end up playing against us, and he's also still a young player, and while some people might not rate him, he's still a young guy. And in terms of just the straight up potential and the way deals have been happening in the Premier League, do you think the 50 is good, or do you think that we should be trying to get more? Because I mean, I'll take the 50, and I think obviously the 50 will help. But at the same time, I feel a bit conflicted, and I kind of feel like I'd be asking for a little bit more, especially because it's because it's Chelsea. You know what I mean? Just because we know they got money, they've been buying a shit ton of players, and not for nothing. But I mean, if we're gonna go for top four, top five, and try and fight for that and compete for that, I mean, they're gonna be in there as well. So I feel like they got to get a bit more, of a tax on them. But I don't know. What else did we got? Anything else? There was something on Rasmus at one point. I think it was early in the day. So Fabrizio, literally 10 seconds ago, saying the two positions United would love to cover before the end of the window are a midfield and a goalkeeper. Yeah. The club believes the midfield can be the next priority. Yep. Well, that's what we all would love. Just so they know. We literally all. that's literally what we're asking for. We want the midfielder and we want the goalkeeper. So, and listen, they're going in the way that they've pretty much told us. I think the second 10 was a bit of a surprise, but they've always said a number 10, a striker, a midfielder, and a goalkeeper. And the club have put it in that order. So it seems like with Sesko now in, we are going to be shifting to the midfield now. And hopefully we could get that done. And then the last one that would be the last, key piece to the puzzle would be the goalkeeper. And I've kind of always agreed with that anyway, because again, I just believe if we can score more goals and we've revamped the attack completely, and the midfield is also very important. And I've always said, like, I know we need a new goalkeeper, and I know it can cost us points, especially like Onana making the mistakes he makes. I get it, but I rate it a little bit less. I think the attack is huge, and it is massive, and it's a top priority for me, and we've got that done. And I think then when you look at it you have to go to the midfield, because the midfield is one of the most important, if it's not the most important position, in the team or on the pitch. Because you could have a great attack, but if you have a shit midfield, they literally link the defense and the attack. So if you don't have a good midfield, you're not going to be firing on all cylinders. And that's why I kind of put the goalkeeper, on a lesser priority, because if you sort out all the players in front of the goalkeeper and the team, basically all the 10 players on the pitch in front of the goalkeeper are operating well and playing well, you just, in my opinion, you minimize the risk from having a shit goalkeeper. I'm sure it'll still come up and it'll still cost us, some matches or some points here and there, but I feel like it can't be to the extent of how it's been. If you have an attack that's actually scoring goals, that's actually threatening, that can actually put pressure on the opposition, that the opposition is actually afraid of. And then also, if you have a good midfield that's winning the midfield battle and that's operating good, I think if you do the attack and you do the midfield, I think, you know what, if we don't end up getting the goalkeeper, I think we could probably sneak away for a season and then try and do something about it next. But I would love nothing more than for United to just get it done this summer window. Fabrizio also told us and said that all right, this is his quote. He said, "I will tell you more about Carlos Baleba and Manchester United in the next hours and days." So Fabrizio's getting some updates. And Fabrizio's saying it's not over yet. United wants to find a new midfielder on the market. So the midfielder is coming, and we're moving now. I mean, we stalled for a little bit, but considering how we just jumped into SESKO and this deal is pretty much done, and now we're already talking about a midfielder, and Baleba is one that's already been identified. We're moving now, finally. So I wanted to find. There's so much SESKO stuff. All right, so one of the things here that we didn't talk about that I'm going to bring in is that PSG wants in excess of £30 million for Donnarumma. He will not be offered a new contract. He could stay there for one more year, or he could leave now, and that's coming from Ben Jacobs. So listen, I mean, if Donnarumma is available for $30 million, I think we got to figure out how to get the money, man. After you do the midfielder, somehow scrape up some £30 million and get Donnarumma. Because you tell me Donnarumma for $30 million. There's just no way. Also, one of the things about Baleba was that there is no panic from United to sign Baleba. The price is unknown, according to Ben Jacobs. Says sales will be needed to generate the funds due to PSR. So, I think we're definitely interested in Baleba. I don't know if I buy exactly what Ben Jacobs says. The price is unknown. Because I mean they've been quoted for 100 million, but maybe you get them for a little bit less. Maybe you get them for 80 or something like that. But I think it kind of makes sense now. Surely now, we need to sell like a Garnacho or something to get the funds for PSR, because I just don't. I don't know how we can continue to spend that amount of money after the money that we just spent. I kind of feel like surely PSR has to come into some sort of play at this point in time. And so it makes sense that now the Garnacho front's moving, because Garnacho is pure profit. And if it is true that, like, the PSR is in play, I mean, Garnacho probably just wipes that out. So, yeah, let me jump back into the chat, because I see a lot of you guys are chatting. And Oh, Steph. Yeah, Steph joined late. Shout out Steph. Yeah, I was muted. The mic was dying. We had problems in the beginning of the show. It didn't start off great. I bottled it. I bottled the intro, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Gray says Amarim always talks about running and intensity, but never talks about control. Is this a worry? Feel like we will be a transitional team. I mean, it's a good point. I don't. I feel like in certain matches, Grace, or against certain opposition, we may very well be a transitional team. But I think if I remember, he doesn't talk about it a lot. You're right. He talks a lot about running in intensity. He doesn't talk about control a lot. I do remember him talking about it a little bit. And I think if I remember correctly, he was saying something along the lines of, there are matches where we play where we should be in control. And I think he would like us to be in control. And from what I can remember of the way his sporting team plays, and I know it's different, but again, it's pretty much the only example we have of our manager in the way he played worked. There were many games that they played where they were transitional and they weren't control. But I think he understands, or at least I hope that he understands that the Prem you have to be able to control. And I think he understands it because I think he understands what Manchester United is supposed to be. And I think he understands, what we're supposed to do. Like, I don't think if Manchester United are at home and we're playing against Everton or Brentford or whoever, I think he understands that we shouldn't be transitional. We should be controlling those matches, especially at home, especially at Old Trafford. Listen, you do an away game at Anfield versus Liverpool, it might be a different story. But we'll find out. We'll find out. I mean, I do believe that we do have to be a team that controls the game. So we want that. Lyle says he's happy with the 50 million for Garnacho. Just get him out. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Grace says 50 million and 100% sell-on fee. That's a good deal, Grace. Now that's a good deal. That's a great deal. Let's get Grace to be the negotiator for the deal. Let's add her. Let's add her to the negotiation team. We should definitely. That's the best deal ever. Just sell him for 50 million and we get 100% sell-on fee. We'll give him. Let's do 99%. We'll give him 1%. Make it a little bit more sweet for them. Nuba says, I'm more than happy to sell him for 40 million with that kind of attitude. Plus, he is not guaranteed playing. Chelsea have so many wingers. He will be disgruntled and asking to leave. Better have sell on. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things too. Like, I mean, I know he's kind of a bit, he is sort of a bit full of himself in a certain way. I think every player is, because if you're a professional, you kind of have to be, right? But I mean, a lot of us kind of say that. I mean, Chelsea have like 75 wingers. And I think as we've seen, like Chelsea's kind of that team where like your spot is literally guaranteed to nobody. They will bring you in and they will toss you aside like ASAP. So, I mean, it could be that he goes there, we get 40, 50 million for him, it doesn't work out, and maybe he doesn't play a lot, and then maybe he's like, fuck this, I want to leave, and he ends up leaving or something like that. So that could happen too, for sure. Steph says 70 plus Premier League goals equals 70 plus points equals UCL qualification, fourth bare minimum usually. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm looking for us to score a lot more goals now. It's going to be, listen, you can't be under any illusions that it might not click in the beginning. Well, I hope it does, because that'd be great. But we do have to remember, listen, we're talking about a brand new front three. We have two players from the Prem, which helps, because they should be used to the league, even though they have to adjust to, playing for Manchester United. But then at the same time, we're getting a striker from outside of the league, and you have three players up top who haven't played together, and they've all just come into Manchester United. So there could be a bit of a period of, having to adjust and maybe it not clicking immediately. But hopefully we kind of just get a bit of luck. We hit the ground running a little bit to help us out, because, our start to the season is quite tough as well. So it's not like we have that time. We do need a bit of luck in terms of hopefully it just gels a little bit better and not worse. So Lyle also said drop a like, subscribe, get in the Discord, and he's giving you the Discord link. So I will pin that just for anybody that's not in there. I actually can't pin it because I'm not on my other account, so never mind. But yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber and you enjoy the content, subscribe. And then also, if you're not in the Discord, you got to get in the Discord, because you're missing out on all the news and all the discussion when we're not live. So Grace says, can I be Amorim out if we lose to Arsenal? Well, I mean, it's up to you, Grace. You could be whatever you want. We're not here to tell you what to be. I won't agree with it. In terms of, I'm not going to join you. But if that's what you want to do, Grace, then you're allowed to do that. You're your own person and you're your own fan. Now, for me, I mean, I'm going to go down the route of, let's see where we are after about 10 games, 10 matches. I think it's going to give us a good indication. I still kind of expect, or I would say, I think to be in a decent position, we should be somewhere between 6th and 8th, and only a couple points off, of the top of the table. We shouldn't be far off. I think if you play 10 matches and we're somewhere within 6th to 8th place, and maybe we're like 4 points off of 3rd or something, I don't know how the table's going to shape up. If it's something like that, I think that's a decently good position. Pretty much, the position itself is not what's going to bother me too much. It's going to be about the gap in points, and I think as long as we're close and as long as we're in there, I think that's a good indication. And then we gotta try and keep it building as we go further into the league. We gotta stay in the game this year. I think that's one of the biggest things. There's probably some people out there, maybe like, Axe is a bit harsh on Ruben. That's his standpoint. But I kind of feel like as long as we're in the fight, as long as we're in and around the fight, I think it's good. We got to stay in the fight this season. We got to be in there. We got to be in and around there. Because the position itself, in terms of the number in the league position, it's not that much of a factor. If we're 5th or if we're 8th, if it's only like a 4-point difference to the top, that doesn't really matter for me. I want us to be competing. I want us to be in the fight. I want us to stay in it to the very end. We can't afford to like have a drop off somewhere by the time, we get to December or January and we're like 10 points off of 4th place or something, because then it's, it's very tough. So we need to make sure that we're in just a very good position and stay in the fight. Which I kind of feel like we will do. I think we can do. I believe we can. And I think Amorim can do it. So I believe in him. And I look forward to seeing what he's got for us. I'm looking forward to see if his words and his beliefs is going to match up basically on the pitch. So Nubi says he agrees with me. He said, with a good midfield and a healthy defense, we can limit the number of attempts on goal. Onana wasn't that bad at Ajax and Inter when playing with the teams that can retain high possession. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that bad. Listen, I mean, if you look at his time at both those teams, he did still have, mistakes, like errors definitely on his part that don't look great. But yeah, I mean, I think if you have good midfield defense, I mean, again, like if you the 10 players in front of him, if they're operating good or correctly to a high point, and we're sort of efficient in what we're doing, then I think we can get by with somebody like Onana at goalkeeper, which is why I always ranked the goalkeeper lower, because I was just like, we can't score. We're not threatening. Nobody is threatened by us. They know we can't score. They know we struggle. There's no pressure on the opposition. They're not afraid of us when we come to play because they know that we can't score a goal. They know if they make the spaces tight, we're not going to score. As the game goes on and we don't score, and it's like the 30th minute or 40th minute or 50 or 60, they start pushing up more. They start getting into the game more. They start putting more pressure on us. We feel the pressure. We drop off. Because also, our players also knew we're conceding goals. We can't score. And they start getting the pressure more on them. And they start dropping back. And they start playing scared. So when you have the attack, and hopefully this attack starts producing a lot of goals, then teams are going to be afraid. And they're not going to make it easy for us because, the top teams all face it, like Liverpool, Arsenal, all the top performing teams that are, winning games and are high up in the table and are scoring goals. When they go play like other teams, like, a Brentford or something like that, they do, close all the gaps and make it very extremely hard. The only thing is that they just find a way to score a goal and they win the points in those matches. Lyle says Baleba before Arsenal. Mark my words. Lyle's trying to be his own Fabrizio here. I hope so. That'd be great. That would be great. That would be great. Hesty says price is okay for Donnarumma, but the salary though. And Lyle says that's why he's not sold on Donnarumma. Well, I mean, fair point. I don't know what's his salary on because I don't know and I'm not sure. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think 30 million is, I mean, for a goalkeeper like that, I think is a decent price, even though he's in the last year of his contract. But yeah, I don't know what his wages are on though. So. Nubi says Anthony and Sancho are pissing me off. If they are open to join any team, they're already gone by now. And we have money to get Baleba and Donnarumma and Lemons. Well, I think Sancho is a bit different than Anthony in terms of that. Anthony wants to go to Betis. And Sancho is just a prat because he had an opportunity to stay at Chelsea. He wanted the money. He was supposed to go to Juventus or something like that. I don't know how that deal fell apart because I missed it. I'm gonna be quite honest. So I wasn't filled in on those updates, but obviously it hasn't happened. I think part of the problem is that like I think there's probably a couple people interested in Anthony, and there's basically nobody really interested in Sancho. And then also the contract situation is a bit different. Like Sancho, pretty much can just chill out and wait to get loaned out to somebody, run his contract down, and then be a free agent next season, and then get a higher pay because Sancho clearly cares more about the money than actually, the football aspect. He's trying to eat his cake, and he's trying to have his cake and eat it too, pretty much, because he wants to get paid a good amount of money, but he also is trying to play for a good team, which you can't do if you're shit. So, and he's been shit. So, yeah, I mean, the thing about Anthony is that kind of pisses me off is that it's not really per se Anthony. I kind of get Anthony's standpoint of like he wants to go to Real Betis. He had a good time there. He feels like, he belongs there in a certain sense, and he enjoyed his time. So I get it from his perspective. For me, it's more of real Betis that's pissing me off because he was their best player. They supposedly love him, but they just refuse to. They refuse to do any deal in which they give us some money. Like they could literally do a deal where they give us like some money up front now. Maybe we'll cover, part of his wages and then you give us money later or something. Like, I don't know. Like, they just, the standpoint from Real Betis just seems to be like, we love Anthony. We think he's the greatest player on the planet, but we only want him on a loan. And it's just like, it kind of just feels like Dortmund, like 2.0, when they loaned Sancho last time and they took him. And they started doing all that social media posts about how great of a footballer Sancho is and how much he's loved there. And then when it came down to the end of the deal, the end of the loan, and they're like, yeah, so are you going to buy him? And they're like, yeah, but like, we don't really like that fee. And it's like, but Dortmund, we thought he was such a great player. We thought you were in love with him. So you're not willing to pay 30, 40 million for Sancho? But you were saying how good of a player he is. Betis is kind of the same. It's like, if you really believe he's that good of a player and you really think he's that great and you really actually want him, why are you not trying to do something with United in terms of, make a deal where, you kind of both benefit instead of just sitting there trying to be like, no, loan deal or nothing. So Grace has a personal hate for Arsenal. We can't be losing to them. Well, I get that, and I want to beat Arsenal as well, Grace. But it's football. Shit happens. Sometimes we win, sometimes they win. I'm saying let's beat them. I'm saying SESKO comes in, and now it makes it even more interesting because you got the SESKO Gyökeres dynamic. I would love nothing more than SESKO to come in. We play Arsenal. SESKO scores 2 to 3 goals. We win the match, first game at Old Trafford. And I think we can. Because Arsenal's they're not firing on all the cylinders yet. And they're not going to be when they come to Old Trafford. And we have a little bit of, per se, an advantage because we're not going to be firing on all the cylinders either. But we are going to be home at Old Trafford, first game of the season. So I'm saying let's go out there and win the game. I think we can win it. I think we actually, we should win it. So yeah. Lyle says, yeah, Betis taking the piss. They're waiting for the end of the window, so they have all the leverage at the moment. It would be cool if there was another club in for him. There was Atletico Madrid at one point. I don't know what happened to that. I think the part of the problem, Lyle, is that I don't think it's not that there isn't another club in for him. I think it's because of Anthony, in the fact of that he's kind of doing, like what he did, like what Embuemo did, in terms of like there might be a couple other teams, but he's basically made it clear that like don't even bother trying to accept a deal from whatever other club it may be, whether it's like an Atletico Madrid or somebody like that. He's like, don't even bother, because he's like, I'm not signing for any of them. He's like, I don't care what the deal is. He's like, I'm not going to listen to their offers. He's pretty much just like, I want to go to Real Betis. So I think that dynamic is it's fucking us a little bit, because Betis know this. And then Betis are doing what I think what you said. I think they're doing exactly that. And I think the part of the problem is that Anthony is kind of aligned with them, in the fact of that Anthony's not willing to even probably listen to other offers from other clubs. If Anthony and his agent were looking or more open about going and doing a deal to anybody, I think Betis there'd be more pressure on Betis, and maybe they wouldn't have this stance that they have. But I think his agent and him have made it abundantly clear, and they probably told the club that, like, I don't care if they put in a bid for me. I'm not going to accept it. I don't even want to listen to it. So don't even waste your time. Just figure out a deal with Betis, or do whatever. Grace says, have you watched Eddie the Eagle? No, I don't know what that is. What's Eddie the Eagle? I don't know. Newbie says, I just realized that Vitek already joined Bristol City on loan and playing for them. Did he really? I missed that. But, I mean, good for him, I guess. I mean, Bristol. I think the championship, Bristol. I mean, that's good. I'll take that loan. Why not? Grace says Onana over Donnarumma. You think so? Grace says Capology says Donnarumma is on 244,808 euros base a week with 104,808 euros in bonuses. Shit. So that converts to 212,000 pounds a week plus 90,000 pounds bonuses. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. That's a bit of a problem. But, nah, you know what? He's a goalkeeper, so it's kind of different. It's not like you're getting an outfield player, so I don't know. Because even on that, I mean, he's at 212,000 pounds a week. When you go to sign him, he's going to want more money. He's probably going to ask for somewhere around 250,000. That kind of goes outside of our whole restructuring of the wages type thing. It's quite high compared to the wages we've given to all the players that we've signed under Ineos. So I don't know. I mean, maybe you can make an argument and be like, but we're only signing him for 30 and he is quite experienced. So if you get him for 30 and you give him, maybe 100,000 more than what Cunha and Mbeumo are getting, I don't know. Maybe you could kind of juggle it that way. Maybe not. I mean, I guess that's for them to decide if they're okay with that. If it makes sense in that financial aspect, I don't know. But yeah, that could be a problem because that's a bit outside of what we've been doing. You know what I mean? Nubis says Amorim is pushing for a midfielder internally. The club believes a midfielder is the next priority before the keeper for Fabrizio Romano. Yeah. And again, that just lines up with what they've been telling us the whole entire time. You know what I mean? Before the window even opened. It's literally, they have literally gone in the order that they basically told us, not directly, but that came in the reports, that revamp the attack. I mean, we originally thought it was one number 10, a striker, and a midfielder, but then it ended up being two 10s. But still, two 10s, a striker, then they always said the midfield, and then a goalkeeper. So the midfield is the next position, obviously with the links to Baleba, and we'll see, how that goes, and maybe it doesn't work out. We end up going for somebody else, but definitely the midfield. The midfield is now the next priority. It's gonna be interesting though, because I think we do probably need to sell of a Garnacho or something like that. So we'll see how quickly that whole midfield target moves. I think the goalkeeper might be one that maybe we have to do very, very close to the end of the window, because we don't have. I mean, it's already August the 7th, so there's about like 3 weeks left, or exactly 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, we need to sell a player or two. We need to then move for the midfielder, get the midfielder signed, and then we then have to go for the goalkeeper, if we have money left, or we have to sell again, and then get the goalkeeper. So it is a bit tight. I think definitely with 3 weeks left, you could definitely do the midfielder, for sure. I don't see any reason why in the next 3 weeks you can't do a deal for a midfielder to come in, plus player sales. I just feel like, and then the goalkeeper depends how much time is left, I guess. Might be cutting it a bit close, depending on what the situation is. So Grace says it's a film. Watch it. Okay, I'll watch it later tonight or something like that. Grace says, did you look at that thing I put in the Discord about the squad value? I did. I looked at it. I'm gonna be quite honest. I didn't really understand it though, because it was it was a lot, and I didn't have like too much time to sit there and analyze it. I was actually gonna ask ChatGPT to explain it to me, but I got sort of a gist of what you were, what it was about. But yeah, I did take a peek at it. If you want to explain, Grace, I mean you can. Um, if you want to explain any point about it, you can. So, Nuba says, I think Amarim was pushing Hoimland, whatever his name is, but Ineos probably said no to that and chooses Beleba instead, just like they said no to Watkins, even though he was Amarim's choice over Sesko. Um, I don't know. I don't know if he was though. Nubis was Watkins' choice over Sesko. Um, well, actually, yeah. You know what? To be fair, yeah, because Amarim was saying that he wanted a experienced, ready-made striker. And I mean, in terms of age, he's not experienced in terms of age, Sesko, when you compare him to Watkins. Obviously, Watkins has had a longer career, and he's been playing in the Prem basically, I mean, his whole career. So, in that way, yeah, you're probably actually right. But also, I think for Sesko, I think he kind of fits what Ruben wants, and I think Ruben is good with it as well, though. So I think he's agreed to it. Obviously, I don't think they've done it in a manner of like, Ruben's like, I don't want Sesko, I want Watkins. I think he's told them I probably prefer Watkins, but Sesko is also a good look. And then they've obviously gone with Sesko because Vivel. Um, and yeah, I mean, obviously has the connection to Himland, right? So um, Anubis says, I don't think it's going to be 3 weeks to sign the midfield signing because the first 10 games are going to be the hardest. It's going to be quick, like Sesko's did. I hope it is. I'm just saying, in terms of we have 3 weeks left, I don't think it could. I don't think it'd take necessarily 3 weeks. But the thing that I'm saying is that like there's 3 weeks left. If we actually this time for real right now, if we actually need to sell to buy the midfielder, we need to sell at least Garnacho. We then have to go and buy the midfielder. And then, depending on the situation, if we have money still, then we could go for the goalkeeper. If after we do the midfield deal, we have to figure out how to sell, maybe Anthony or something like that to do the goalkeeper deal. You're talking about all those deals in the next 3 weeks. So we could probably like listen, we could sell Garnacho maybe by the end of the week or something, right? And then maybe by next week we can get a midfielder in. That's only 1 week. It leaves us with 2 weeks left. Or it might take 2 weeks to get the midfielder. We'll have another week. Or so, something like that. Maybe it takes a week and a half or something like that. So it is it's doable. It's 100% doable. It could become very tight, just depending on how things happen. So well, I mean, we'll see how it's gonna go. But I think for sure, the midfielder, we could definitely do it. It just depends what happens, I guess, with the outgoings now because of Garnacho, and how quickly I guess that deal could do with Chelsea, if it actually even happens. Grace says estimated book value in 2025. There's a book value this summer to break even on the books. So Anthony is 31.92 million and Hoyland is 37.25 million. Okay. Yeah, I mean that. I guess that makes sense because that's what we're asking. We're asking. I mean, we want 40 million. I think for Anthony, 40 million or 50 million, whatever it was asking. So that makes sense. So we would make a little bit of profit on that, and then even Rasmus. One of the updates that I saw about Rasmus, I think AC Milan was trying to say that they want to pay 30 million for him. if I'm not mistaken. I don't know where I'm gonna find this because it is deep. It is deep in the. Oh no. Let me see if I find it. Where was the Rasmus? Where was the Rasmus update? As I saw it, or what? I saw it at some point. I just don't know when it was. Did they get rid of it? Or was it yesterday? I don't remember when I saw it. Let me see. Rasmus. Oh, yeah. Should be something here. Yeah, there was this 4 hours ago. Rasmus Højlund is now Milan's favorite choice over Vlahovic. Milan are trying to determine the conditions of a move as officials from the club are in England to potentially speak to Manchester United. Talks can reach a key point at this weekend with Højlund having made it clear that he is interested in a move. Well, this whole thing has been going back and forth though, because once they say that Rasmus is interested in moving, then they say that Rasmus is not interested in moving. Now they're saying that he's interested in moving again. And this was reported 4 hours ago. So this was before SESKO actually confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that, we already knew that the SESKO thing was happening. Maybe he feels some type of other way because SESKO's coming, so now maybe he wants to leave. And even 6 hours ago, Pete Hall saying that another player outside the bomb squad group who is now likely to leave is Rasmus Højlund. United could accept the bid as low as £30 million to allow Højlund to leave. So that's what that was. 16 minutes ago, actually, Ben Jacobs. Exclusive. Manchester United value Rasmus Højlund at £40 million as they actively seek an exit. Price up $10 million from a previously understood $30 million number. Højlund on record saying he wants to fight for his place. Leipzig discussed Højlund, Syria and Saudi interests. So that was 16 minutes ago from Ben Jacobs coming with that update. So United are, according to Ben Jacobs, and the latest update, they are now actively looking to sell him for £40 million, which covers pretty much what Grace has just told us. Because if his book value is at 37.25 million and we sell him for 40, we are making slight profit, but we break even and we make a tiny bit of profit. So the 40 million makes sense. According to, what Grace has sent us into this, she sent it to me in the Discord. Grace could share it in the Discord with everybody else, so everybody else could take a look at it as well. But it does make sense now. So, Nubis says, I think United will buy first and think about selling. Worst case scenario, they might sell Mano in winter or June next year. Yeah, I don't think they should do that, though. I mean, listen, we got Casemiro going. After this year, it's done, it's over, and I wouldn't sell Mano, and I would have preferred to sell Casemiro, but it's not going to happen. But Casemiro is done after this season, so we're not going to get money, but we will stop paying 300,000, a week, or 325,000 a week, or 350, whatever it is. We'll stop paying that, so we'll save money there. I don't agree with selling Mano. I don't think we should sell Mano. I think Mano is young, potential, and I think he has a good attitude and a good mentality, and I think he could be a really big player in the future. So I just think in terms of the overall project, I don't think we should be selling Kobe Mano. To me, it doesn't make sense. A little bit reluctant with Garnacho as well, but how things kind of transpired, I do get it, because while he might have potential, I've always said, and I always hold highly, attitude, mentality, and he doesn't have that. and he is a little bit too selfish, and he is not necessarily a team player. And I can't say those things about Kobe Manu. I can't. I can't. I think Kobe has the potential. He already has the skill that he has now, but I think he's a quite grounded player. He, you don't see him making social media posts or trying to throw shade or doing weird shit. So I think he has those characteristics. I think he fits the overall project for the future of the club. So for me, Kobe doesn't make sense. I would be against Kobe going. I think you already got one with Garnacho, and I think it kind of went in their favor a little bit because the way Garnacho, the way things transpired with Garnacho, the whole comments after the Europa League, the Europa League final, the posts that he's made on social media, like posting, picture with him in the Rashford Villa kit, and even his brother doing social media posts, even though his brother's like 14 or whatever, but still, at the end of the day, you're a United player, you're older than your brother. If you had a problem with your brother doing it, you call up your brother and you tell your brother, shut the fuck up and stop making these posts because you're fucking my things up. And if your brother actually gives a shit about his brother, then he would stop doing it. So, these little things off the pitch or whatever transpired, we haven't had any of those with Kobe. So, selling Rashford, Garnacho, Bruno, Mano, and Delo would have the biggest positive impact on PSR. Well, Rashford is gone, and Garnacho is going, hopefully. Mano makes sense, because it's pure profit. Bruno, because of the wages. And Delo as well. Is that because of what we bought Delo for, the price that we bought him for? Because they're pure profit, because either they're a youth player or we paid off their contract and they have a high sell value. Oh, all right. Yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting. But I see again, like somebody like Delo and somebody like Bruno. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They're not. As long as Amarim is here, they're not going. And I think as well, I don't think Mano should go either. And I don't think he's going to go. And hopefully they give him the new contract, which they're working on, and this is supposedly he's supposed to get. So Maguire's around £10 million still on the books. Nuba says, I agree. I'd rather sell Bruno first than Mano. Wouldn't be surprised if United sell Bruno next summer if they get Baleba and he performs well. Honestly, I think that as long as Ruben's here, I don't think Bruno is gonna go anywhere. I don't think Bruno will go anywhere. I don't think he wants to let Bruno go. I don't think Bruno wants to go. I think the chance for Bruno to go, I think, was what we just went through right now, and he hasn't gone. So I feel like Bruno just won't go. And Ruben rates him highly. And I think Delo won't go either because I think Ruben rates him highly. You have to remember our manager at the current moment, Ruben. And I know they're both Portuguese, and somebody out there is going to be like, Portuguese bias or whatever, but I don't think he has a Portuguese bias because I think he rates their mentality, their attitude, coupled with their ability. And he obviously rates mentality and attitude and work rate very, very highly, coupled with ability. And I know people out there, they don't necessarily rate Delo, and they don't think he's that good. But I think he has a certain level of ability, and when you mix that with Delo's work rate and his attitude and his mentality and the fact that he's usually actually very fit, and he's mature. When you listen to Delo speak, when he holds himself well, he's a team player. Ruben rates these characteristics very highly, so I don't think that I like maybe the club tries to do it. But I just don't see them going because I think if they're listening to Ruben and they're still backing Ruben and Ruben still has their faith, I think Ruben, like he's already done, I think he will make a huge stand as to you are not going to sell Bruno and you're not gonna sell Delo. These are proper players at the football club. And also, you know what? Just beyond Ruben, I think even people like Wilcox and stuff like that, when they look at these players behind the scenes, I think they know, and you know they're like, listen, players like this, they conduct themselves. They conduct themselves very well. They're professional. They're mature, and they're seen a little bit as leaders. So I think if you're building a squad, you don't want to get rid of players like that. You want to keep them. I think there's other players there that, you know, like Casemiro's done. Maguire's probably, I mean, he's professional, but he's coming to the end of his term as well. You know, I think there's some other players in there that probably have to go. So we signed Maguire on a 6-year deal with a 1-year extension, which we activated. SESKO already in a private jet to Manchester, doesn't want to wait. Safe flight, SESKO. Yep, we'll see you soon. He should be there soon. It is. He should be arriving in the next hour. He's supposed to arrive 6 p.m. British Standard Time, so he should be there relatively soon. He should be relatively soon. Phone is on low battery. Magnifico 88 says, yes, my guy, how you doing? Says, damn, still in the bathroom. Yeah. It's not bathroom. I'm literally sitting on a bed. I'm literally sitting on my bed. So it's not bathroom, bedroom. Yeah, still my bedroom. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but you know, I'll probably be returning in the next like two or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? The next 2 or 3 weeks. We got Baz saying he's tracking the jet now. Where's he at? Where's he at? He's already in the air? You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy. That we got the fan. I mean that in a good way, but I always find it hilarious. Like there's so many of those people that they track the jet, they get the flight number. I was like, dude, I don't even know where to get that from. I don't even know where to look for it. I'm sure it's fairly. He just left Leipzig airport. All right, so he's on the way. Yeah, I find that hilarious. Like, I'm like, these guys like he's in the air right now. Do you know what he's eating? Can you track his meal on the flight? Do we know what his are they giving him a little bag of peanuts on the private jet? Is he getting a steak or something? He's in the air right now, so he should be. What is it? An hour flight? I think it is from Germany to England. It's not far. Hour and a half maybe. I think it's an hour. No, 45 minutes. He's drinking a mini can of Coke. Grace says Eric doesn't work. I don't work out. No, I work out. Magnifico asked if vacation or working out there. No, I'm on vacation. I'm on a very long vacation. You know, I know a lot of people, they take vacation, they go for like a week or something like that. But my vacation is different because my situation is different. It's not the same as many other people, you know. All my family lives here pretty much, except for my mother and father. They live with me in the States, but you know, all my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, literally everybody, even most of my friends. I have more friends here than I do, you know, in the U.S. So when I come here, I stay here for quite a long time. You know, I do 10 months in the States. I work. and then when it comes to you gotta live life a little bit. I want to see my people and I want to enjoy my time, so I come here, and it's unusual, and luckily enough, I'm a bit fortunate where I've been able to pull off being able to go on vacation for about 2 months vacation. Um, you know, I kind of people ask me like, where do you live? Um, that I meet here, I might know them. They ask me where do I live, and I tell them I live here. I was like, but I work in the U.S. I work in New York. I was like, but I live here. Like here I live, but I work in America. Because I mean, yeah, like in the states I don't really have too much of a social life anymore. So, um, do I speak Maltese? I do speak Maltese to a certain point. I still remember clearly the Cardiff City player's tragedy every time I see a player flying on a private jet. Trauma. Yeah, I mean that'll do it to you. I mean that one of those things happens and you're like shit. Like hopefully that's just a one-off time thing. Still terrible. But do you speak Maltese? All right, I answered that. Grace says the American women are all 500 pounds. That's why he went to Malta for the summer. I mean they're not though. I mean listen, we are the country of fat people. But if you got money, which at least if you live in a state like New York, you gotta have some type of money. I don't know what they do, Grace. Maybe they get Ozempic or something, or they get some sort of procedure. But yeah, there's some thin ones out there. Tony Drago. He's from Malta, right? I don't know him. I don't know him. What does he do? What does he do? Is he a fighter? Is he a fighter, Magnifico? I feel like I heard of him, but I don't know him. I don't know. Is he a fighter? I'll ask some of my friends, because they'll probably know him. But yeah, what does he do? What does he do? Anubis says, I thought Malteser's chocolate is a Malta product. Apparently it's British. Yeah, I think it's British. There's a couple things like that, Anubis. Like I don't know if you ever heard, but there's a Maltese dog as well. There's a Maltese dog. Has nothing to do with our country. Has nothing to do with Malta. The dog is not from Malta. It's from I don't know what country it originated from, but there's a type of dog called a Maltese dog, but it has nothing to do with Malta. Apparently, so yeah, there's a couple things there. But the thing about that, Nubis, with the Maltesers chocolate, apparently being British, is that Malta used to be a British colony. So that could be a reason for that. You know what I mean? We used to be a British colony up until the 70s or something like that. I think maybe the 60s, 70s. Then we gained independence because Britain was like no more colonizing and kind of just left. But I mean, yeah, I mean during World War II we got bombed a lot, Malta, because well, number one, we had an alliance and we were still a British colony. So England got bombed a lot from Germany and Hitler. And we got bombed a lot as well because we were connection with Britain. We had the British Royal Navy with us, and also he deemed us a threat because we are right in the middle of the Mediterranean, and we were able to. We were like a major port for like the boats and stuff and supplies, and handing out supplies to countries that needed it. Or weapons or whatever, food. It could be anything. So Germany bombed us a shit ton as well. He was trying to take us out. And he didn't succeed somehow, even though we are literally the size of a dot. Don't know how, but we've survived somehow. He's a snooker pool player. Oh, that's why I don't know him. Because I don't know nothing about snooker pool player. But I'll ask a couple of my friends. They'll probably know. Grace says, read my third to last comment. Where is that? Oh, you said who don't rate the low, sleep with one eye open. Um, I forgot who it was. But there's been a couple people we've chatted about it in the lives when I say I rate the low, and some people don't rate the low. Apparently, they just don't think that he's good, and I'm like, I don't think he's an elite. I don't think he's elite, but like I don't think he's a bad player. You know what I mean? Not that one. What do you mean not that one? One third to last comment. I got one, and this is two. Are you talking about the women being 500 pounds? I'm confused. I read all your comments, Grace. Or you said that I don't work out. Is that what you're saying? I don't work out. I do work out. I do work out. Right now, I'm not working out because I'm on vacation. Although I have gone to the gym a little bit here and there, trying to make sure that I don't gain too much weight. But we will be going back to that as soon as I go back, pretty much. One above, you don't work out. One above, I don't. One above, one above. The one above, Grace, the one above, I don't work out, is you said who don't rate the low, sleep with one eye open. I don't, there is no other comment here. So, I don't know what you said, but Magnificent from the back in the 90s. All right. I don't know. I got to ask. I'll find out. Next one, Magnifico. Newbie says, Eric, you got to do a vlog or something. I want to see the view there. Don't know much about Malta. Well, oh, you're in the Discord because I put some pictures in there. I mean, if you're in the Discord, you can see we have a whole tab in the Discord, Nubis, called Living La Vida Malta. I put in some pictures. I haven't put a lot. I'll put in more at some point. But yeah. Baz says he's flying over Hanover now. Committed stalker. Baz says maybe we deserve some excitement. I need this. No, 100%, man, 100%. Magnifico said go live from the beach. You know what? Maybe one day I will. Although I don't know how it fits into the. I don't know how it fits into the channel. That's kind of the problem. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll do a live, and whoever catches the live, maybe we'll leave it up for a day or so, and then I'll take it off. Grace is breaking. SESKO has asked the pilot to fly further north as he now wants to sign for Newcastle. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. No, who wants to sign for Newcastle? Nobody wants to sign for Newcastle. No, nobody wants to sign for Newcastle. Isaac doesn't even want to stay at Newcastle. He doesn't even want to play for Newcastle. So. No, nobody wants to play for Newcastle. Nobody likes Newcastle. Let's just see. Just remember, our new striker is 6'4". David De Gea will receive official honor by Manchester United. It's the least that they could do. Chris Wheeler has put out saying that the data on Mbeumo in particular indicated that United have signed the closest thing to Salah. That statistical research comes under the control of Mike Sanzoni, the new head of data. Well, let's see. Data driven. You've been saying we've been lacking at that for quite some time, and they've said that apparently at Liverpool they're very good at it, and it's helped them in being successful. So let's see if that transpires to anything. Yeah, I think SESKO is probably gonna arrive closer to 7 p.m. UK time. It seems like it. So What did I just see and I just missed? There was something. I don't know. Baz says, imagine if we pulled the Baleba deal off as well, Dreamland. No, 100%, man. I mean, it's going to be huge if that happens. So let's see what happens, Baz. Let's see what happens. I mean, I was quite surprised. I didn't even really want to believe it when they put it out. I mean, Grace didn't believe it right away. She said it was rubbish when I put the update in the Discord the other day. But I mean, it did come from David Ornstein, so it's quite hard to. I mean, David Ornstein and then Fabrizio as well, given the updates, it's quite hard to. It's quite hard to not buy into it at some sort of level because it's not like it's some fringe source or something. It's David Ornstein, so. I mean, listen, if they pull that off and they get a goalkeeper, and if it's Donnarumma or somebody, I think we'll absolutely be in dreamland because I think the way it started, like we were excited about Cunha, but then that whole period where we were stuck on Mbuemo really like depressed the shit out of everybody. I did like it kind of depressed the shit out of everybody because we're just like pretty much same old United. Like we signed Cunha because it was a buyout clause and it was easy, and now we can't do a deal, and we didn't sell anybody, and we didn't do anything, and then we finally got Mbuemo done, and then literally after Mbuemo, we went on the tour. We did well in the games and the matches that we played on the tour, in the U.S. It made us feel a little bit more positive. Obviously, we still have some things to perfect and be better at and get better at. But we did relatively well in the matches that we played. We look relatively good or better. So there was a bit more hope. And then now the SESKO thing has happened. And as soon as basically, I mean, we haven't even officially completed the SESKO deal, but we pretty much got him. And then they just come in with the Baleba. And you're like, what the hell is going on? We've done almost a 180 of where we spent a month and a half basically like, just doing nothing. And then all of a sudden it's like SESKO, and then like, oh yeah, by the way, Baleba. And then, oh yeah, by the way, we're definitely getting a goalkeeper as well. If they do that, I mean, we are going to be in dreamland. I think I said in the beginning of the show, I said in the beginning of the stream, it completely changes the dynamic, the feeling, the hope, the optimism, just everything about the club. I mean, you look at where we were last season, you look at how it went, you look at the squad we had, and I've always said, get Ruben Amorim 4 to 5 players. 4 to 5 players, you can make a difference. It can make a huge, massive difference to the squad. It will give him the best possible chance that he has. And then it's up to him. Because, listen, I think at this moment in time, let's for argument's sake, let's say we do Baleba, we get the goalkeeper. Nobody, not even if you're Ruben Amorim's brother, not even if you're his dad, not even if you're his wife, whatever, like nobody, not even if you're his kid, nobody can argue and say that Ineos, bring Ruben in a shit period. We went through a shit time and it was a disaster. And then we went to a window and they fucked Ruben because they didn't get him players. If they do this and they get Baleba and they get a goalkeeper, they've done their job. They have done their job. And then it's up to Ruben. It's up to Ruben and it's up to the players. And I would like that very much because I think when we get to a point as a football club where we don't have to fight in the middle of the season between us, the fans, where half the people are like, it's the manager, and then the other people are like, it's the hierarchy because they fucked him and they didn't get the players. We can go into this season and be like, all right, all eyes now on the manager. Because, listen, they bring in a shit period. It didn't go well. We're still sticking by you. We're still giving you a chance. You've gotten a preseason. And our football club actually did what they were supposed to do as a football club. And they spent money and they bring in players of high quality. And they have given you tools to succeed. Now it's in your hands. So, I mean, I hope, because like 3 weeks ago, I was concerned. I was concerned and I was worried because I was like, we are not moving. We had Cunha and we were gonna get Embuemo, but I was like, we didn't get Embuemo, and I was like, I was thinking maybe we finish the summer window with 3 signings and that's it. And I always said that I'm like, you need 4 to 5. You need 4 to 5, and I just felt like 3 wasn't going to be enough. And I was a bit worried, but SESKO's in, that's 3, and we're looking at least a minimum of 4. And the other teams have strengthened as well. I mean, Liverpool, strengthened immensely. Chelsea are getting some players in, and Arsenal has gotten a couple in, and so it's still going to be tough, but it just makes me feel like the way we're moving right now makes me feel a little bit more normal settings to United, more something like, there's actually something there to like actually believe in again. You know what I mean? And that we actually there is a chance that we actually can actually be competitive and do good. And we need that. We need that. So. Baz says, who would have thought after losing that final to Spurs, we would have ended up with Cunha, SESKO, and Buemo as our front 3 and now chasing Baleba? Not me, that's for sure. Well, we needed to do something like this, though, Baz. I mean, after losing that Spurs final. I didn't know how it was going to shape up, but I always argued that I was like, I said it immediately after we lost that final. I said the ramifications from this is massive because we gambled everything on that. And I said I didn't know how they're going to do it, but it was their job, Ineos, Barada and everybody else that's involved in the hierarchy. It's their job to figure it out. This is what they are there for. That's why they're in this position. And I was like, the ramifications of losing that, and then we lost the money, whatever they got to do to figure out how to get the players for Ruben, because it was their, not priority. It was they had no choice. They had no choice. They had to. It was their responsibility to get the players for Ruben, because you can't do what they did and hire him and have him play a totally different style of football and bring him in the middle of the season and have it gone the way that it's gone, and then go into the summer window and not be able to get him players and not be able to transform the team and change the way that we can play. And I always said, like, if you do what they did and you bring in a guy like Ruben that plays the way he does, and you know that that's what that is, they had in the discussions, then there has to be a plan to transform the team, to transform the way we play. And so they had to do something like this. Otherwise, everything that they did prior to that wouldn't have made sense. So I'm glad that they've gone away about it, in which they are actually doing their job. They're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Magnifico says, "What's the food like out there? Main dish, etc." So pizza, pasta. It's Mediterranean, pretty much. Mediterranean diet, fish. Lots of seafood. We have like a couple local things that are like, they call it pastizzi. It's like a baked. It's actually very unhealthy, but it's very delicious. It's like a baked pastry, sort of flaky bread cooked with a lot of butter, and then on the inside they fill it with cheese or peas. Generally, they're delicious, but they are very, very fattening and very, very unhealthy. Very, very oily, but absolutely delicious. That's one of our main things. But yeah, a lot of pizza, a lot of pasta, meat like steak, sausages, and stuff like that, chicken. And then seafood, lots of seafood. Oh, and one of the things that they do eat is rabbit as well. Rabbit is very common dish here. They make pasta with rabbit or just rabbit in general. Um, so yeah, as an American, eating rabbit is quite, or well, somebody that's grown up in America, it's quite unusual. I feel like in the UK as well. I don't think they eat rabbit in the UK. Um, so I always grew up kind of iffy to that one, but I'm not gonna lie. I tried it a couple times. It tastes like chicken, or 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 beef. It has no different. I missed the message again. No, I didn't get there yet. Nubis says, "Who do you think going to be the best signing this summer?" It's a good question. It's hard to tell. Um, but I don't know. I'd probably say my money is probably. I'm probably going to be wrong about this. I don't know. Off my initial gut feeling, off the top of my head, I kind of feel like, or at least I hope, I would say SESKO, hopefully, because striker, scoring goals. But I'm kind of leaning towards Mbuemo. I don't know why. I just really like Mbuemo. I think his sort of characteristics, it just, I just feel like it's a good mix. Like he's a bit bulky in terms of like, not bulky, he's a bit stocky, but he's fast. And I think he's very good in both aspects in terms of like he can score, but he's also a player that isn't super selfish and he can get assists or gives assists or he looks for teammates like to pass the ball when they're in a good opportunity. I feel like Mbuemo can perform particularly very, very well. Cunha is one that I think he can do well. And I think he has that fire. But I don't know. I lean a little bit more to Mbuemo. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Magnifico says I'm concerned it will take the front three a season to get to know each other. Never seen a team, but a whole new three. I mean, it's a valid concern, Magnifico, because it definitely can happen. I think one of the things that probably helps us out a bit is that we probably have more training time on the pitch. Training time on the pitch, more training time, so we can. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't, considering that we're not in Europe. Maybe that helps us out. Maybe it benefits us. So I'm a bit concerned about that as well, because I understand we needed to click. We needed to click, and I hope it doesn't take too long to click. But I do understand there's probably going to be some sort of an adjustment period. There's probably got to be, because, putting together a whole new front three, none of them have ever played with each other. The only thing that maybe helps us is two played in the Prem and one hasn't. So maybe the two behind the striker doesn't need that much of an adjustment. Maybe SESKO might need a bit more of an adjustment. But then also, he's a striker and really all he's got to do is put the ball in the back of the net at the very least. And I think he can do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, can you guys hear the kids? Can you hear the kids screaming in the background? They're out. They're outside playing football. Yeah. So I mean, we can't really afford Magnifico. We can't afford it. we can't afford for it to take a whole season. We can't. We need them. We need them to click as fast as possible. I think that's one of the challenges that Ruben is going to have to sort. You know, it's one of the challenges that Ruben is going to have to make happen. Is to get it to click, because we we can't have a good season if the front three doesn't click. If the front three is not operating, we're just going to do essentially what we did last season. So we need them to click. So it's the challenge for Ruben. But then that's when I come to the point of like, okay, but that's on the manager then. You know what I mean? That for me, those are one of those things that it then goes on the manager, and it goes on his team of coaches. That's something that is in their control. That is something that goes directly to him. That is a direct problem for him to solve. He's been given 3 new tools up front. His job is to now figure out how you use those 3 tools as efficiently together as possible for it to make it work. So something like that, I will put the onus on the manager, because I was thinking the other day, and I've had many like sort of disagreements, whether it's Axe, and I see Axe is in here, so shout out Axe. But Axe, sometimes my father, I've had many disagreements with my father, because he's like, but what is the manager's fault? And I've always said, like, when we actually get this football club to a place, and I feel like so far right now we are heading in that direction. We have more work to do, but it's certainly moved from where it used to be. When you have a club that is doing signings like we're doing, with the talent that we're doing, and the hierarchy is doing the proper job for the manager, and getting the manager players, and bringing people in, and trying to build an actual solid squad. I think when you solve all those problems that are above the manager or going on behind the background, when those things are not the biggest issues that have been going on for years at the football club, I think then the picture can shift more to the manager, because it's like, well, the club from here to here is operating properly. Now there's the manager and the team, and if shit doesn't happen, then it's the manager and the players. And we've removed some players out, and we've got new players in. So, and we've kept supposedly the players that we like, that we think have good characteristics, attitudes, mentalities, and are ones that you build a squad with. So I think a lot of it now, it comes to the forefront of Ruben, for sure. So there's still things going on in the background that we got to do. You know what I mean? Like getting in a person to fill in this position, and we get like another, data person or analytic person or something like that, or different positions, small stuff like that. But I think right now, the job that they've done, I think they've done themselves a massive help, Ineos, in terms of doing a transfer window like this, because the way it's going, when we get to the end of it, it'd be like, no, like we won't start in September and be like, Ineos fucked Ruben because they didn't get him players, and then 40 of us will be like, but he's a shit manager, and the other like 40 of us would be like, but it's the hierarchy. But if the hierarchy does the job, and they give the manager, and they actually give the manager a chance, then we can actually focus more on what's going on, like a normal football club, between the manager, the players, and what's going on. Are they improving? Are things changing? So yeah, Grace says, I didn't believe it at all when we were talking about Baleba. I'm really far, but I've been kind of rambling on. Donnarumma with a cherry on top. Newbie says, I'm glad they signed Ruben mid-season instead of the summer, or else it's going to be another horrible season because he have no idea who to keep and sell. Well, that was the thinking, Nubis, and that was basically what they, or the reason why they decided to do it. And to be fair, I think listen, that was another risk and another gamble, 110%.
Well, that was the thinking,
Oh.
Nubis, and that was basically what
We got the playback coming through. So yeah, I mean that was the thinking, and that was the sort of the risk or the gamble. I think that they thought that, I mean, it wouldn't have gotten as bad as 15th. I think they were a little bit fortunate that it balanced out that we got to the Europa League final. I mean, if we won, it would have made it better. But I've always said, I hope that actually pays off. I hope it actually pays off. I mean, it makes kind of sense on paper to a certain extent. But for it to actually be worth something at the end of the day, Nubis, it's gotta produce. It's gotta produce. Because I agree. Because you can make an argument for be like, well, if we bring an interim and he did the rest of the season, and then we bring Ruben in the summer, and then Ruben has to actually come in and evaluate the team like firsthand, like most managers want. They want to see for themselves. They want to interact with the players and stuff like that. And then, you know, we don't have this transfer window probably of what we're doing right now. We probably don't have this transformation of what's happening in the squad. And we go into the next season, and he's got to still adjust to the Prem, get used to the football, understand it while understanding the players, and maybe the season goes to shit. Now, hopefully, he's had since November, so he should have a better understanding, a better idea of the way football is played in England, the opposition that he's got to face, the players that we still have in our squad, and he's had time to learn from mistakes, and test things out in terms of what has worked and what hasn't worked. So in that terms, he should be more up to speed. He should have a way better understanding. The thing is, that's all great, but it has to pay off. You know, it has to show results somewhere, for it to mean anything. Otherwise, it was just, you know, it just was for nothing. Gray says Bayern won, Spurs 0, Hurricane scored. Oh, my friend's watching it. He's a Bayern fan. So yeah. And somebody put a bet for Harry Kane to score a hat trick against Spurs. I saw on Twitter. So, thank you, Grace. What else? Baz says SESKO is flying past Bremen, coming close to the Netherlands now. Axe is here. Grace told me tell the kids to shut up. I think they went inside. I think they're done now. Matata says, were you waiting for the good times to be back streaming? No, I'm on vacation, and it's like the timing is kind of hard because I'm not home a lot. And you know, I'm out of the house for most of the day. Today is a little bit different, and we got a little bit lucky because I went out, got a haircut, got something to eat. And then tonight I'm going out, but we're not going out till, what time is it anyway? I don't even know. It is 7 p.m. here. We're not going out for like another 2 hours or so. So today I actually had time. Usually I go out, we go to the beach. I get home at 5 or 6. I'm home for like maybe an hour. I take a shower, and then I literally go back out. We go dinner, and then we go hang out for the rest of the night. And then I get home at around 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and I start over again. So most of the days, it's been a bit hard to like find time to do a stream like we're doing right now. But today was actually a good opportunity. Like for example, tomorrow probably not going to stream because it's Friday, and I'm going out tonight, so I'll probably wake up hungover and half alive. And somehow I got to get alive for Friday night as well. So yeah. And then Saturday, one of my friends, it's his birthday. We're going on a boat from like 9 in the morning to like 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, you know, it's just it's been a bit tough tough for time. You know what I mean? X says also, you choose the worst intervals to stream. Strange, since we are on the same continent now. You like how that works, but honestly, the past two streams, Axe. I mean, you know, I wasn't. It's not the time that I would prefer to stream. I know, like, for the good streams, it should be around 8 p.m. BST. But that's hard for me to do because it's already 9 p.m. and I'm usually not home. So I got to do them a little bit earlier. But this stream and the stream we did last time, that's all because United. That's because United put in the bid for SESKO at 2 in the afternoon or whatever it was. So got to go live when they put in the bid. And then I went live today at the time I went live because we got the update from Fabrizio. We got the here we go. So sometimes it's out of my hands right now. But I know the prime time would be, here it would be 9 p.m. In England, it would be 8 p.m. That's probably like a good time to do it. But I can't do it at those times anyway because I'm not home. So yeah, it's a bit difficult. Then when I go back to the States, it's easier because you guys are ahead of me, right? You guys are ahead of me in time. So I can do a stream at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 in the afternoon. For you guys, it's 8 or maybe 7 or maybe 9, something like that. I know for Lyle, it's a little bit later. But like, yeah, it makes it easier for me because I could do it at 3. You guys are already at night time, close. You watch me and then most of you go to bed. And then when I finish, I still have another 4 hours to do stuff. And also I don't, I don't do much over there anyway, but I mean stuff to do for myself. Over here, I'm running around, run outside, running with friends and stuff. So it's just like, it's different. You know what I mean? So I apologize for the intervals, Axe. I apologize. I'm trying my best. Matata says, why are you giving credit to the owners and the manager when it's the players themselves who wanted to come to the club? Because, well, I mean, they still got to do the deals, Matata. They still gotta get the guys in. They still gotta negotiate. They gotta give them something, they still got to make them good offers. Also, you got to identify the players as well. And nonetheless, even if the players did want to come to United, we still need to have money available, which I was very worried about because it just seemed like we were in a very bad financial situation and a very bad spot. And I was just like, I don't know how we're going to do basically what we did, which I give them credit because they said that they had a plan. Many of us criticized them for it because we were like, we don't know what you mean because the plan's not really rolling. We had one player signed, but they did have a plan and they had money. And even for the fact of just getting in somebody like Vivel, who I rate very highly. I think he's probably the best footballing person we have at the football club. Bringing him in, I give credit where it's due, where I feel like it's due, because we give them criticism when we feel like it's due as well. So I try to be even-handed, but I don't give the Glazers any credit. I mean, the Glazers, again, no credit. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like the hierarchy that we have established at the current moment in time. I think the way that they're moving and operating, even for the fact of setting a sort of standard of buying players for around 60 million, not giving anybody wages over 200,000 a week, and changing things that are going on in the background. I think they do deserve credit for stuff like that. So, Axe says, bro, if they didn't consider we could end on the 15th, if they aren't cut for the job. Yeah, I don't think that they. Maybe I worded that wrong. I don't think it's that they didn't consider. I think that they thought that it wouldn't happen. I'm sure they probably knew that there was probably going to be transitional problems in the process. I just don't think, like, I think probably a good amount of people out there initially thought that it would go as low as 15th. I think because I didn't think it was 15th. 15th is very, very, very low. If you told me 10th, it'd make a little bit more sense. Or you know, it'd be a little bit more realistic. Like considering that we finished, or even 8th, considering that we finished around there the previous season, it'd be like, all right, that's sort of close. When you get to 15th, it's like, yeah, I didn't think it would get to that point like that. You know, and then I guess also they hope that maybe it goes well, but it didn't. So, and actually they just threw half a season to the bin. Yeah, I don't think that they were trying to do that though. I think they took a gamble on it, and it obviously didn't go in the way that they hoped for. It was a risk, and I think they took, in their opinion, a calculated risk in that we might fuck up the rest of this season, but then they're also looking ahead. So I think they hoped for the best because it's football and you never know. I mean, he could have came in and he could have done exceptionally well. He could have hit the fucking ground running and he could have won 10, 12 games in a row, because it's football and you just don't know. Just like nobody said that Liverpool was going to win the league last season. Everybody said that they weren't going to win. Slot came in, fucking went right with it, and they won it immediately. And everybody thought there's got to be a transition period between Klopp and whoever comes in, and it didn't happen because that's football. But I think they also looked at kind of what Nubis said and was like, it's a bit of a risk, but also we're building. I mean, this isn't a one-time thing, so we got to get the manager in now, and hopefully it goes well. But in that period of time, you know, looking forward, he should be able to build on going into next season as well. So I think it was probably it was probably it was part of their plan, but it just, you know, it swung one way, and hopefully now it swings the other way, man. Worst gamble in our EPL history? Maybe, probably. I mean, considering where we finished, but it has the. You know what though? It still has the opportunity to not be, though. I would say. Axe, I would say it still has the chance to not be. Because if it goes particularly well now going forward, but he sticks around and we continue to build and we get better and maybe, you know, or we even win some things, in like 2 years time, you'd look back and say, you know, that was kind of shit that we went through that, and that sucked, but it ended up actually paying off down the line. So, you know, that period wasn't great. Yeah, it was horrible, and it was rough to go through. But later down the line, it paid off. So let's hope and pray to God it will turn around. Well, listen, it's a new season. It's a fresh start. He's here from the beginning. So, you know, I kind of got to go in with that sort of mentality of like, you know, this is a new thing. Like there's nothing, I wouldn't say nothing actually, but it's not like to turn around. I just kind of take it as like sort of a clean slate. I mean, he's made a mention to it as well. He's like, you know, you don't want to like kind of forget what happened, but also at the same time, like, you got to kind of forget because we kind of got to start new as well. You know, it's everybody's on the same number of points when we start the league, and it's a new season and we have fresh chances. So we gotta just hopefully just, you know, do good. And I think the players that they're getting him, I think, is giving him the best chance that he probably could have had. And I'm just happy for that, matter of fact, because I would have been more worried. Again, like, if they give him the players and it goes wrong, there ain't shit you could do but other than, sack him at the end of the day. But I was more worried at the fact of, like, I was like, you did what you did, and then to not get him players and to not, like, actually go for it, I'd just be like, then, what are we doing as an entire football club as a whole? So I think the hierarchy are doing their job right now, and hopefully they fix it in terms of, like, get a midfielder, get a goalkeeper. I literally think you can't do more than that. Well, I think if they finish with a midfielder and a goalkeeper, to the level and quality of the three players that we already got, I don't, you literally, as a club of where we were and what we did, I don't think you can do more than that. I think we will have done the utmost possible that we could have done in one summer transfer window. And then it's just up to Ruben and the players. So I believe in him. I think he can do it, and I think he can get it right. And then also, I think he's been given, he's been backed, and he's been given the best possible opportunity that he probably could have had, which makes me feel positive because as long as he has that chance, I think he can. I think he can do it. If he didn't get that chance, if he was robbed of that opportunity because of the incompetency or the, you know, un unavailability or non-ability of the club to be able to provide for a manager to change the dynamic of the squad, then he has the best conditions. I think he has probably, at the current moment, he probably has the best conditions that probably any manager has had post Sir Alex Ferguson. He probably does because we actually have an actual hierarchy, and we've changed the structure of the club, and we've gotten people behind the scenes and stuff like that. So he probably does at the current moment. I wouldn't dispute that. I think he's not dealing with an Ed Woodward, and he's not dealing with John Murtaugh or Richard Arnold. So I think he does probably have the best conditions in terms of people above him helping him. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to excuse, really. The only thing is that would give me a slight worry is just the connection of the players, I guess, in terms of, like I think Nubis said before, brand new complete front three. There might be some challenges, some issues with getting to connect, but I mean, he's got to get it to connect. But I can understand that. And I think you need to get it to connect, otherwise it's not going to work out for him. Because again, if they don't connect, we don't score goals. We don't score goals, we're not winning games. So we're not winning games, we're not getting points, we're not going off the table. So it's a bit of a concern because, again, it's football. You don't know what's necessarily going to happen. You hope it works out, but I don't know. We could play the first 5 matches. We could score 3 goals in every game. We could play the first 5 matches and score 0 goals each game. But I don't know how it's going to go. You would like to hope and expect that we get the front 3 to be scoring. But that's one of those things that is a bit of a concern. But then again, it goes on him, because after some period of time, they got to be scoring. Like, even if it's not happening in the initial period or the initial start of the league, that's his job at the end of the day. He's the manager. He's the one that's got to get them to click somehow, some way. And we have extra time on the training pitch now, so he should be able to do it. In my opinion, I don't see how how he doesn't do it. I think he can do it. So I think he'll do it. But pretty much all I mean, we'll see where we are as we go along. But I mean, I think, of course, I mean, if we sign Baleba and we get Donnarumma, going for it. We got to finish fourth, for sure. We got to finish fourth. We got to get in the Champions League. But yeah, we just need to be in the fight, man. We just need to be in the fight for the whole season. That's where I want to see, and then we'll, based off of where we are and how the table's looking and how other teams are looking, we'll see where we can actually finish. But we 110% need to be. We need to be competing, and we need to be an actual challenger for the top positions in the table the whole season. After a certain point, like after 10 matches, we got to be close. We can't be like super far off. We got to be close. Let me just see. I don't see anything here. Apparently, United have told Chelsea they will have to pay £50 million to sign Garnacho. Madueke deal seen as a benchmark. Well, fair enough. That's what we should be doing to Chelsea. Chelsea should not be able to lowball us. I mean, they sold Madueke to Arsenal. We should be using that as a benchmark, just like every other club did to us. I mean, Wolves did it to us. Brentford did it to us, and other teams are doing it to other teams. So we should be doing the same. Chelsea has money, and we would like to get paid so we can, we need a sale, but no, we shouldn't do that. How do you rate United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and City transfer this summer? I think I personally probably I tell you I think Liverpool. If Liverpool sign Isaac, I mean, they're probably number one, probably a 10. Because they already won the league, and you sign the players they sign. If you add in Isaac in there, and if Isaac did it, I mean, you're just rubbing it in everybody's faces, essentially. You win the league, and you go and do those signings. I think, you probably can't do a lot more. I mean, they did a lot. So, I don't even know. I'm going to be quite honest. I don't even know. I know Arsenal signed Gyökeres and who was the midfielder? They signed the midfielder. Chelsea, I don't even know who Chelsea signed. Oh, Chelsea signed Pedro and the guy that we were gonna sign. And who was the other? Who else did they sign? North Sea now coming towards the UK. He's close. I have no clue who City signed, but I don't know who City signed. I literally haven't seen one transfer to City. So I have no clue. I feel pretty good about ours now that we got SESKO in. And I would probably rate it. Well, depends how we finish. I mean, if we get Baleba and you get Donnarumma, I'm giving it like a fucking. It's got to get like an 8 or a 9 out of a 10. If you do that, considering where I thought we were and considering how I thought we weren't going to be able to do kind of what we did, or what we're doing, I have to give them that much at the most. Who did Arsenal sign? Other than Gyökeres, they signed. Let me see. Let me just get a list. City got. Oh yeah. They did that early. That's why I forgot about them. All right. So Arsenal got Zubamendi. I forget about these things. I remember reading them at the time, but you know, I'm not a fan of their club, so I don't remember this shit. Get off of my screen. All right, so Arsenal got Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Madueke, Mosquera, Norgard, and Rizabala. They spent 224 million euros. I think Zubimendi is a very good player, and Gyökeres, I want him at the club, obviously, and I think he'll do good at Arsenal. He's already getting shit for playing like shit, and at this point, actually, I hope he does bad because he's playing for Arsenal. So fuck him now. You know, I'd rather him flop in the Prem and be bad, and me be wrong about him being good, because he's at Arsenal now, so he could do one for all I care. But I still think he's, you know, a good striker. Madueke I rate very highly. I think he's actually a good winger. And I'm surprised Chelsea fucking sold him, but whatever, it's Chelsea. And I like the Mosquera guy. I think he's a nice little buy. Norgard's not bad either. But he's a nice little, he's a cheeky little buy, Mosquera. I mean, yo, like, probably like a 7 or 8 for Arsenal in terms of what they already have and what they've added. I think for them personally, it's been a pretty good window. They got the striker. Everybody said they needed a striker. They went and they bought him. The Zubimendi is a very good midfielder. And I think they probably needed somebody in there, like getting rid of Partey and stuff like that. They could have used to strengthen that midfield up a little bit more. And I think Madueke, instead of having, I don't know, shitty Sterling or Martinelli, I think is an upgrade for them as well. So I think they've done particularly well for themselves. And then yeah, who did City sign? See, for me, Manchester City, I think is quite interesting because I know they signed a bunch of players in the January window, and then they're obviously signing players now. But I find them quite interesting because a lot of their team has gotten a bit old. Obviously, like people like De Bruyne is gone, and Gundogan is, I don't know if he's still there, but I mean, he left and came back, and he's old. And a lot of that team that they had has kind of, you know, it's time to move on or retire. And Pep has never been at a football club where he has had to actually rebuild it himself where he's already been. So kind of what Pep is doing right now is trying to do what Fergie was a master at, because he did it, I don't know how many times. Fergie did it like 8, 10 times. Rebuilding the squad, like his own squad, where he gets to an end of an era squad and then kind of shuffles things around and gets it back to performing quite high. And Pep's never really had to do that. He's never really had to do that. And all the teams that he's had, they were either already in a decently very good position and they need to buy some players. They always had money available. They have, obviously City has money available. But yeah, I mean, they got Reinders, Atenore, Turkey, James Trafford, Napan. Fucking Napan. I wanted Napan. And then this guy is nothing. Yeah, I find it, I mean, listen, they seem like they're going a bit on the younger side. They definitely have to rebuild. I find it quite interesting because I don't think that they're going to be the powerhouse in which they were when they were at the peak of the squad that they just had. I think that they are going to struggle a bit. And I don't know. I think they'll still be competitive, but I don't think City's going to win the league. I don't think they'll win the league. I think they're not going to be as strong as the times when they won the league, when they were almost like unbeatable in terms of like they didn't lose many games and many matches. I think there's going to be a period of like, you know, transition pretty much in their team. So, you know, I think Cherky will be a good player. I rated Cherky a lot, and Nori could be. I mean, he's very fast and was at Wolves and already played in the Prem, and then Rangers could be good as well. And Napan, I think Napan. I wish we got him. I wanted that kid really bad. And then Chelsea. So City, I mean, for what they did, I'd probably give them a light 7 because they've gone quite young. They got to rebuild, but for me, for City, I just don't think City is gonna be one. I think right now, the way I think about it, I think it'll be Liverpool, Arsenal, and maybe Chelsea fighting it out for the title, essentially. I think City will be in and around there, but I don't. I think Arsenal is probably. I think Arsenal is probably going to perform better than City. Well, I think Liverpool will perform better than City, and I think Chelsea have a shout because they seem to keep improving over time so far. I mean, they won the Club World Cup. They beat PSG. They've got João Pedro, Gittins, Hato, Delap, Estavio, Asujo, Sar, Paez. I think, you know what Chelsea are doing? Disasi. No, Disasi, whatever. No, not Disasi. You know what Chelsea are doing? Chelsea are buying all the fucking players on Football Manager, is what they're doing. So, dude, you still live? Yeah, I'm still live. We're about to get off though. How long has it been? 2 hours? I don't know. I've lost track of time. I can't tell what this. 60, 20, 2 hours, 120. Holy shit. It's almost 3 hours. Yeah, we're gonna go though, because I gotta get ready and I'm getting, my ass is hurting from sitting on this bed. But too much time on the beach waiting for the transfer to happen. Gyökeres has been poor in preseason. He's coming seriously overweight. I kind of seen that. I mean, the games that he's played, he hasn't looked great, but I do still feel like it'll probably come around. It seems like it's written for everybody to kind of take the piss out of him right now, and then at some point, like, it'll probably start clicking. Because for Arsenal, I mean, it's not the same as us. I mean, they were already scoring goals and they were doing well. And they got to add the striker, who's somebody who scored a lot of goals. So, and they've gotten another midfielder, and a winger. But for us, it's like different. We just replaced the whole front three, and we need to add to the midfield. So it's like a little bit of a different situation. I feel like Gyökeres, he might have come in now and he might be looking bad. Maybe it doesn't work, which I hope so now, because I mean, he's not on our team, so fuck him. I hope he's a major flop at this point. But I still feel like it could just very easily just take a little bit of time, and then start clicking. You know, obviously the internet's going to take the piss out of the guy, because it's the internet and that's what they do best. Man's played 2 preseason games that doesn't look so well, and they're, you know, already making fun of him. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean shit. I mean, 10 games into the Premier League season, he could have fucking 10 goals. You know what I mean? I don't know. So we'll see. Baz says, Norius is a serious player. Wish we got him. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the players that Chelsea bought. I wish we could do some more signings like that at some point. I would like to see some of these players, but I don't know. Chelsea just seem like they go on Football Manager and they get the top scouts. list and they just buy players because they literally buy all the players that are like good and rated in Football Manager. It's quite weird. Nubis says he thinks Gyökeres is going to struggle. Arsenal players don't create enough chances for him in preseason. Their wingers played like Garnacho. Yeah. I mean, they gotta, but that's an adjustment that they're gonna have to make. But it is true, and and the reason why they play like that is because they haven't had a striker. So I mean, if you don't have a proper striker, you need to have inside forwards to do the job, kind of like what we were doing. We relied heavily on sorts of like Rashford cutting in from the left wing and scoring goals. Why? Because we didn't have like a proper striker. So we needed to use the wingers to come as inside forwards essentially and be wingers that are forwards that invert and go inside. And Arsenal were pretty much doing similar thing. I mean, they were using Havertz as a striker, and again, like he's like a false nine at best. He's not a striker. He's not a proper striker. So you got to have sort of the inverted wingers or inside forwards. So I don't know. I mean, they got to adjust to that because I mean, people like Saka was scoring a lot of goals for them, but like now you got a main guy, main target. So he's gonna have to learn when to, or he's got to be looking for him. And then Martinelli's like a Brazilian Rashford, or Brazilian Garnacho. That man does not. That man has no end product in terms of like crossing assists, passes for assists. He is just a guy that runs the wing and cuts inside. They still need to sign the left wing. Still massive links with Eze. Nubis says, I think this is the biggest spending in Premier League history, especially in the top 6 teams. Well, it's only going to get more. It's only going to get more. The money is only going up. Inflation's only going up. And more money is only being pumped into football. So it's only going to get more and more expensive. So, I mean, it might be right now the biggest spending, but it's literally only going to get more. I think because of the spending from the top 4, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea, it gave us a kick up the ass we needed. Well, maybe. But, I mean, we needed anyway. We need, maybe it did Baz, but at the same time, like, we needed to do this anyway because we were already behind. And like I said again, when you do what they did, when you get in a manager like Ruben and you make that decision in terms of this is a guy that plays a 3-4-2-1, he plays totally different style of football than what we had, in the team in terms of ability of players able to perform like that. And they made a conscious decision that like we want to go with this sort of brand or type of football. But when you do that, you need to be able to transform the team. You got to change the team. You got to be able to have the ability and the funds and then the knowledge and the will do to go and change the team. So, maybe also it pushed us a bit further because you look at the rivals and it's teams that we're trying to compete with and catch up to, and they're making certain moves and we're already behind, and maybe it gave us an extra kick up the ass, but we already had to have that kick up the ass because they had a responsibility in terms of for a project, for it to make sense, you gotta do that. You gotta do exactly what they did, or what they're doing. Rodri is back. Yeah, that's true. And Turkey is scary when it comes to final third passing. With An-Nouri on the left, Haaland will get lots of help. Yep, I feel like Haaland's a bit injury prone though, and I think he's gonna get injured a couple times this season. I think he's gonna miss a couple amount of games. Also, Haaland is one that if you don't give him the service in the box, the guy don't score. Rodri is a big one for them, obviously, but then I find it always quite crazy because it's like I still like listen. I know you can have like a world-class player and they make a huge difference, but to tell me that one player is your whole team is quite crazy, because unless, in my opinion, you're Ronaldo or Messi, like, how do you have a team that's supposed to be a champion team and you lose one player and your whole fucking team falls apart? I find that quite crazy. So I mean, he is back. We'll see. Yeah, they're going to loan the pawn straight back out. He won't play for them this season. Yeah, he probably. I mean, he's young, and they didn't spend a lot of money on him. I would have just liked to get him. Liverpool signed a lot of players. Not sure if they gel yet. That's true, but they kept a lot of the players already that they have that they won the league. So, besides maybe the striker. I mean, they lost Jota, sadly, in like the saddest way you could possibly lose a player. They lost Jota, who was a very good player. So that's one that was literally out of their hands. And they got rid of Diaz, right? And Nunez was just shit. So it's like, doesn't matter of him going. It just matters about who they replace him with. They still have Salah. They still got Van Dijk. They still got a good amount of players that they already won the league with. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be entertaining for sure. But yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, everybody's strengthened. Everybody's gotten players that look like they're very good or they should be good. When you're looking at all, the traditional top 6 or top 4, whatever. So we'll see. Baz says SESKO's versus Joker's first game of the season will be cinema if they both play. I think they'll both play. I think SESKO will play. I don't know if he'll start, but I think SESKO will play since, signing done tomorrow. I think he has plenty of time to train and, be ready. I mean, he's been keeping fit at Leipzig. So I think he will play. I just don't know if he will start. It's up to Ruben and the call that Ruben makes. And also from now until then. I mean, just for the fact that, like, if we manage to sell Rasmus Højlund from now until the time we go to play Arsenal in the first game of the season, well, then I'll tell you, well, Sesko's definitely starting 100%. If Rasmus is still here, I can kind of feel like maybe because Rasmus was looking decently good and he did the preseason, maybe he opts to go with Rasmus to start off and bring on Sesko after, or maybe he's just like, fuck that, and he puts on Sesko immediately. But I think the fact that we signed Sesko, I think he will take place he will play for sure, and I expect Gyökeres to be playing for Arsenal and starting as well. So Elias says Ruben Amorim is pushing internally for a new midfielder. Yes. And Elias says Sesko is scheduled to land in Manchester around 7:20 p.m. on his way Reds. He is. He should be there soon. Very, very soon. This might be a bit of stalking, but the same jet is booked tomorrow morning from Manchester to Turin and then Milan, maybe Højlund. The same jet is booked tomorrow morning from Manchester to Turin and then maybe Milan. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. But apparently the Milan people have flown to Manchester. So could it be them going back? I don't know. I don't know if they fly private jets, or is that Højlund going over there? When will you discuss my boy Scott McTominay for being nominated for Ballon d'Or? Has he been nominated for the Ballon d'Or? I didn't even see. I didn't even know. He's been nominated for Ballon d'Or. I mean, he probably deserves it considering what he did, for Napoli. I mean, good for him. Good for him. Listen, I have no problems. Hold on. I have no problems with Scott McTominay. I'm happy that he's doing well. I always thought that he would do very, very well in the Serie A. But and he did okay for us at times, but just wasn't a good fit. Listen, I always say just because you're not good at one club doesn't mean that you're not necessarily, or you can't be a good footballer elsewhere. It just sometimes you just don't fit, or it doesn't work, or it's not built properly. So I always believe if he went to Italy, he fits Italy very fantastic. Very, very fantastic. I think he's perfect for Italy. Absolutely perfect. So good for him. If he wins it, I mean that'd be cool. If he wins it, somebody that you would never expect to win the Ballon d'Or. In that sense, because everybody always is talking, but I doubt he wins it because it's probably gonna go to Dembele, or Vitinha or some shit like that. But yeah, I mean, he had an excellent season. He did well. He won the league with Napoli. He was highly influential at Napoli. So good on him. Good on him. Could be them going back or City. Could be the Manchester private jet flying Holland over. Could be. My bad. Here's my boy, best in the world. Nuba says losing Trent is massive for Liverpool. They have 2 new wing backs, though, but not sure if they can deliver good at crossing like Trent. Well, but that is true. They got did they get Frimpong? They did get Frimpong. And they did get Did they get Kirkez? Did they sign Kirkez? Yeah, I mean, listen. Yeah, they got Kirkez. Yeah, I think on paper, when you look at it, especially if you put Isaac in there, I think if you're saying they won the league already, and you give them the additions that they got, with Isaac included, I think it's hard to say that they don't win the league again. I mean, I hope they don't, but I'm just being fair here. But you never know. They could have issues. There could be gelling issues. There could be, maybe Wirtz doesn't fucking play as good as everybody thinks he was gonna play, and maybe it's a big issue. Maybe one of the wing backs struggle, like you're saying. So that's the thing, man. Like, Wirtz still needs time to adapt. He might, but this is the thing. Like, this is football. You don't know. Like, you can have an idea and you can have a thought and you can have opinion, but we don't know until it unfolds. You know what I mean? Because the opposite can happen this season, where people are looking at it. Like, let's say they sign Isaac, which seems like it's probably going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but let's say they sign Isaac. Everybody's going to look at that, and everybody's going to be like, they won the league. They won the league. They're going to win the league. It's done. It's over. Everybody's fucked. That's literally all you're going to see, like, and hear, right? But real life, then it can transpire to exactly the opposite of what happened the previous season, where Klopp left and Slot came in, and everybody was like, nah, there's got to be a transition period. There's no way Slot comes in and gets this shit firing. So nobody actually put them to win the league first. But he came in, and that's exactly what happened. There was like no transition period. They performed exceptionally well, specifically in the league, and they won the league. Now this season, they could sign all these players, and it would be like, league's done. Before we even kick the ball, league's done. It's over. And then the opposite could happen. Maybe they actually do struggle. Maybe they do have some problems that they need time to adapt, transition. So, I mean, but that's what makes the season so great. We just never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? There's a rumor that Liverpool might move on from Isaac, the price, and target Barcola instead. I mean, whoever they get, I mean, they got money, and they can go get. It's a bit scary. It's a bit scary because, you know what? Like, as United, like, even when we were winning the titles, like, we didn't do shit like this. Like, we sort of just maintained our squad, and we added a couple, not too many because we didn't need to. But, like, they won the league first year with the new manager after transitioning from the manager that won them the league for the first time in like about 20 years. and then they go out and spend this money that they've spent and on the players that they've gotten. And it is quite a bit scary because I think back to it of like, imagine like when we had Sir Alex and like we were winning titles and like we won a title and then we went out and spent like the money that they just spent on players and we added to it. Do you know how like how much like bricks people would have shit at that time? Or you say Manchester United won the league 2 years in a row, and then we go and you know, for that time maybe we go out and spend 100 million on a bunch of players, like highly rated 4 or 5, and we add them to the squad that we already had. Everybody been like, you know, the whole league would have been like, yeah, we're just fucked. So, Cunha and Embuemo, the duo that feeds the family. Anubis says PSG will use the money from Barcola to sign Rodrigo. Talk about dominoes. Yeah, this shit's kind of quite crazy. Like, there's a lot of money bouncing around, and there's a lot of knock-on effects happening. And it's like high level players too. It's like, you know, like Liverpool give PSG money for Barcola. Rodrigo ends up going to PSG. Then Madrid will use that money fucking somewhere to get somebody. SESKO is in the UK now. It's closed. The date on Embuemo, says Lyle, indicated that Manchester United have signed the closest thing to Mohamed Salah. That statistical research comes under the control of Mike Sanzoni, the new head of data. Yeah, I saw that before, and I put it out there. I don't know. I don't think you were here, but thank you for the update. And yeah, I mean, like I said, like I was talking about the hierarchy before. Like, we have a new head of data. Like, this is the shit that I'm talking about. Like, this is what we need to be doing. And when we sort these things out, you get a new head of data, somebody that's actually good at data, somebody that actually does the job right. And, you know, whatever other department there is that we don't really have to analyze because we're not running the club, but we do it because our club has been run into the ground by the Glazers. When we get those things right, then, like, it's way easier to just be like, listen, we have all the pieces in place. We ain't doing good on the pitch. It's the manager. You know what I mean? And then maybe probably partially a couple players if you get it wrong. But that's why I always like had a big problem, because I'm like, dude, we have so many issues. I don't know how you can just say the manager, like every time for like 12 years, and it's the manager. I'm like, let's get out, let's sort our shit out, and let's get all the pieces in place. So then, you know, if it doesn't work well, we're just in a position where, like, well, the CEO is doing his job, the director of football is doing his job, you know, this guy's doing his job, the data analyst is doing his job, you know, they're doing good. So, you know, it's got to be the manager at this point. So, Baz has got him locked in. He's locked in. He goes, that's where I'm tracking. Baz has got him locked in. He knows exactly. Baz knows how many times he's gone to the bathroom on the plane already. He knows that he's watched about a movie and a half. He knows what kind of sneakers he's wearing on the plane. Baz has got him locked in. You gotta wait until he touches down in Manchester before you end your stream. Dude, I'm trying. I'm trying, but I don't have that much time. How much time does he got left? Another 10 minutes. Can I do 10 minutes? Oh, man. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you guys these. I don't know if I ever showed them to you before. Do you guys like my my United glasses? I don't know if you can see that. Where's the little devil? No. Do you guys like my Maui Jim Manchester United glasses? I think they're quite cool, man. I love these glasses. I bought them about these sunglasses. I bought them about, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And I actually bought them here in Malta because I came here and I forgot I had a pair of, I think I had a pair of Ray-Bans. And I forgot to bring them with me. And I was like, I can't be in a sunny ass Malta and on vacation and have no sunglasses. So I went to the store to go buy a pair just to see what they had. They had a sunglass hut. I don't know if you know about sunglass hut, but they had a sunglass hut in the mall over here. And I went in there and I looked at a couple of things. And then, well, I didn't like whatever they had. And then I seen a pair sitting there like this, and I saw the Manchester United logo, and I was like, those are United glasses. And there was these, and there was another pair. But the other pair were like, they were like a different style. These are like sporty-ish. The other ones were like big or something, and I was like, those don't really go well with me. But I was like, the sports ones particularly fit well with me. Nubis says the money went directly into the Glazers account. Listen, they already got the money. If the Sunglass Hut has it, so they already got the money. It probably did, but you know what? It probably did. I didn't help. You're right, Nubis. You're right. I did not help the situation at all. But when I put these things on, man, I was like, dude, I love these things, and they're polarized. So nobody can see my eyes. So I could see people. Nobody could see me. And they protect from the sun very well. I will tell you, even though maybe, like Nubis said, the money went directly into the Glazers account. I will tell you, this company and these glasses, they're actually, I mean, they're a bit expensive, but these are actually very good quality. Like the Maui gyms and this partnership with United, like they are very quality sunglasses. I've had them for like 4 years. They're still very like, like the thing, like this it hasn't bent much. It still like holds. There's no flop. They're very good. They're very good. And I love them. And everybody loves them as well. Like they see me wearing these and they're like, dude, those are nice glasses. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, they're United glasses. And they're like, are they really? And I'm like, yeah, look. I'm like, they got the little devil. It says Manchester United on the inside, I think it was made in Italy. Made in Italy? So, yeah. I love these things. They're coming with me tonight. We're going to a rave. There's a rave tonight. We're going raving. We're going to a little techno rave. I'm gonna bring the glasses with me. Gonna be in there, raving it up. It's gonna be good. Baz says he's flying over Doncaster now, then Barnsley, then Manchester. He's getting close. I mean, but what is it gonna do for us when he arrives? Do I get to announce it? Can we clip it up and put it as a short? Should I start jumping around on the bed? Be like, he's here. Update. Manchester United have not made contact with Brighton for Carlos Baleba. Huh? Who's this guy? Who's you? Julian Lorenz, Frenchman in England, talking all things football on ESPN. Oh my God, this guy's on ESPN, TNT Sport. We're not listening to you. Bro, this guy's trying to... Hey, Julian Lorenz. Yeah, this guy's trying to destroy whatever career he already doesn't have or whatever. I don't know. You work for ESPN, my guy. And you're French and in England talking about football. And you have decided to go up against the great David Ornstein and also Fabrizio Romano and come with an update and say Manchester United have not made contact with Brighton for Carlos Baleba, and any deal would be difficult if after signing Benjamin Sesko. However, signing a midfielder is possible if they can sell players such as Alejandro Garnacho. Hey, this guy has risked the wrath of all Manchester United fans. And also, I think he's putting his name on the line there. You're going against David Ornstein. He's probably getting a lot of hate right now in the comments. Probably, I would assume so. They're probably like, "Yeah, you could fuck off with your update." Carlos Baleba, the same guy, is happy to stay at Brighton this summer. A move is considered more likely next summer. Could be true. Maybe he's breaking it. Maybe that's why. Maybe he knows. Brighton have set an asking price of £104 million for clubs wanting to pursue a deal for Carlos Baleba. Julian Lorenz, same guy. Same guy. Coming with this update. So it's going to be very interesting because he's put this out. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna get it if David Ornstein or Romano come out either later tonight or tomorrow and say that United are in for Baleba. Baleba. I actually, let me see. I want to see some of the comments. Yeah, people are having a big go at him. People are having a go at him already. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, people are saying, like, what the hell is he saying? Every trustworthy reporter confirmed we did contact. This guy said David and Fabrizio chatting out their ass. He's taking his side. But this guy doesn't have a profile picture, so you know what? You don't count then. If you don't have a profile picture in 2025, about to be 2026, like in a few months, if you don't have a profile picture, like on Twitter or Instagram, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Like if you just have that gray background on Twitter, you know, that little gray background of like the person or whatever it is. It's like it's gray and it's just like a gray person shape. Like if you have that in 2025 on X, like you don't count. You don't count. You can't count. Like it's 2025, bro. Relax. If it's not Ornstein, Roman, or Ben Jacobs, I don't believe it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Access sincerely now. Who is Baleba? The midfielder that plays for Brighton. Nuba says, to be fair, Ornstein said that United contacted Brighton through intermediary to understand the situation. He did. And yeah, what was this asshole's update? That we have not made contact with Brighton. But like, alright, but now we're playing semantics. So this guy can put an update and say United have not made contact with Brighton because we didn't pick up the phone to call Brighton directly. We called the middleman. So we called the middleman. The middleman called Brighton, and then spoke to Brighton, and then the middleman called us back. So because that happened legally or whatever, or not lying, he can say United didn't make contact with Brighton. Because in actuality, we didn't call Brighton. We called the middle guy. We called the intermediary. So we actually never made contact with Brighton. But then also, I could just say, us calling the intermediary, for the intermediary to chat to Brighton, is basically the same shit as us calling Brighton. Like, this is how journalism works. So to be fair to the guy, we haven't actually made contact with Brighton because we didn't directly call Brighton. We made contact with the intermediary who made contact with Brighton, who then made contact with us. Yo. I hate some I hate bullshit like that. I am a believer of Baleba. Who is he? He's the midfielder for Brighton. I don't know. Well, I don't know. What more do you want me to tell you? He's the midfielder for Brighton. Nubis says true. That's why I trust Baz's report on SESKO's location as source profile picture. Well, like YouTube's a bit different, but like YouTube's a little bit different. But like I'm talking because like at least like look, at least you have like the name and you got like a little letter symbol or something like that. Like the one on Twitter is so like or X is so like it's like so robot from like 2014. Like it's literally just a gray circle with a gray person. I'm like, dude, that's like we used to have that like when Twitter first launched because like nobody like knew what it was and nobody wanted to put like a picture of themselves on Twitter or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, dude, if you're Twitter and you're in like the football Twitter and you don't have like a picture of like it could be anything literally. Like even if you put a picture of a letter. But if you have the profile picture of that little grayed out shit, like you literally don't count. Like you can literally put a picture of just the letter P. I'll accept that more than that little gray shit. SESKO landing in 8 minutes. I see they circling towards me. I said Lyle's in here now as well. He's got the plane tracked as well. Hey, can you guys track my plane when I go back? I'll give you the tracking information. Although I shouldn't do that though, because somebody hates me. They might delay my flight or some shit. I don't know. Some shit might go down. We shouldn't do that. Flight number. I don't know the flight number. I don't have the plane. I don't have it booked. I don't have it booked. I haven't booked it yet. I have to book it. So I don't know. And I will track you guys. I can't tell you yet. I have to actually book the flight. Baz says I'm honored being compared to a journalist. But you're doing better work than this guy. Than this guy that works for ESPN. Julian Lorenz. You're doing better than him. Forget this guy. Hold on, give me a second. No. Oh my God. Wait. Alright. Do you know if I need yeah. It's going well. I'm just here. I'm just waiting for this guy so he could land, so I could go. I still gotta shower and I gotta find some type of an outfit. Oh my God, hello. We have breaking news. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'm not explaining. But somebody has posted here, I see 22 seconds ago. You know what? How about I show you? Can I show you? Let's see. Let's see if I could do this good. I don't know if you could read this. Can you read that? Can you guys read this? Is it backwards? Is it not forward? Is it backwards? Can you not read this? If you can't read this, then you can't read this. There's nothing I can do about it because I can't invert it. I seen that already. Ah, you did. I just seen it now. Yeah. For the people that can't read, apparently Bonnie Blue, if you know, you know, has turned down the opportunity to join Newcastle, stating, and in quotes, even my standards aren't that low. So, yeah, that's where Newcastle are. Hey, whoever made that's a thinker. However, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good banter. That's a good one. Who is she? How how do I say this? Yeah, she's a adult. She's an adult actress, I believe they call them in the politically correct term or PG term. And she is most known for doing a film with 1,000 men in under 24 hours, I think it was, or some shit like that. So, yeah, that's who she is. X is like, where is Newcastle? I don't know. I tell you where Newcastle isn't, Jomo. I tell you where it isn't. You know where Newcastle isn't? It's not in Manchester, and it's not where SESKO's going. Where is Newcastle? Newcastle is not where SESKO's going. That's definitely not where he's going. We were told that they had 250 million to spend within the PSR rules. The player has to push for move like Isaac. That was from the journalist that had the exclusive on Bleba. All right. Yeah, she 1,000 strong. She is tired. Yeah, she couldn't handle the Newcastle squad. It's too much for her. Update, Carlos Baleba and his agent just got the word this lunchtime from official BHAFC that Man United has officially made their move. Access sleeping with 1K, man. Bros, you want? No, we don't watch it. Actually, it's called the internet, dude. Like, you go on Instagram and it's literally just a post of like her, and it says like Bonnie Blue sleeps with 1,000 men. You don't watch the video. It gets reported as like news or something. I don't know. Like, we live in 2025. Like, I don't search for her and I don't look for her things. I will literally open Instagram and I follow like some account that just gives like pop culture news or whatever, random news, or actually Instagram feed is random now. So sometimes you just get random shit. You open the phone and it's just like viral. You haven't heard of her until now. Do you use like Instagram and stuff? Like, I don't know. Because when shit goes viral, in my experience, when things are viral, whether you follow it or not, it ends up on your, some type of social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. No, usually no, I don't. Yeah, that's probably why. Because most of that stuff, I find it on Instagram. Instagram is just like random shit now. It used to be like, your friends and families that you follow, and you see the pictures they post. Now you go on there. I barely see any posts from any people I know, and it's just like random. It's kind of like TikTok. It's just like random shit. And every once in a while you open it and you read something, and it's like a headline, literally a headline. You're like, what the hell? What's going on? They've reached out through the right channels and it was done respectfully. Baleba's been told that if the respectable comes in serious talks will start. Well, let's go. What's interesting is that Onana is stepping in to help out. He's using his connections and their shared Cameroon background to sway Baleba. Agent Onana. Onana is doing everything he can to try and win over the United fans. This guy, he's calling up Emblemo, and he's getting into the club. Now he's calling up Baleba, and Onana's like, guys, look. He's like, just like me. I want to stay here. He's like, I helped you get Emblemo. I helped you get Baleba. Why can't I stay as the goalkeeper? Leave me be. I'm useful. I'm bringing players to the club. I haven't heard of her until now. Well, now you know. And I bet you wish you didn't. I seen this agent Onana strikes again. He's already spoke to Mbemo. If he could get Baleba as well, would be amazing. Would you forgive him, Baz, for all his mistakes? Would you forgive? I want to know if the PR is working. Would you forgive Onana for all his mistakes if he helped us get Mbuemo and Baleba? Because I think this is what he's trying to do. Yeah, Kyla is the first channel that broke Baleba's news. Yes, I saw that yesterday. You are right. And then Ornstein tagged him in it. Yeah, because Ornstein was getting all the credit. Which fair play to David Ornstein, because you know what? I never heard of no indie. I can't even pronounce the name right. And I never heard of them. And if Ornstein wanted to be a dick, he could have just been a dick and be like, yeah, you know, buddy, I'm fucking Ornstein. You know? But I did see that. Ornstein, he did tag him, and he gave them, because it's a group apparently, and tagged them in it. So fair play to him. Bass says they're all Cameroon teammates. Any minute SESKO will land. Laura's asking me if I'm drunk already. No. If I was drunk, this show I probably wouldn't have even started the show. I probably would have not figured out how to go live if I was drunk. Because when I get drunk, when I go big, it's go big or go home. So when we get drunk, Eric is very not like this. Eric is not putting sentences together. And also, Eric's not sitting on the edge of a bed like this for about 3 hours. Eric would be probably face down sleeping in the bed right now. Bass says I'd wait for Beloved to sign, then drop his ass and sign Donnarumma. Once we get Beloved selling out, the PR is not working. Onana, wait, nobody tell him, because we need to get Baleba first. But it's not working. He's trying his best. Lyle says, I say leave the shades at home for your safety. SESKO has landed. He's landed. Let's go. He's landed. He is here. He's here. I actually, as soon as I went on X, I literally see just a picture of the plane. United Muppeteers is tracking it. I see a picture of the plane literally land, like it's landed. He is here. He's out of the plane. Oh wait, no. This was before he left. What the hell? Hey, there's... Oh, wait, yeah. Wait, SESKO pictured with United's director of recruitment, Vivel, before his flight to Manchester. So Vivel was in Germany. So Vivel was home, basically. Vivel was hanging out at home. He went to Germany, got a little bratwurst, met up with SESKO at the airport. I was like, I see you in Manchester. Maybe they went on the same flight. I don't know. But Vivel was there. Vivel was with him. That's how like Kobe is my son. Like SESKO is like Vivel is or SESKO is Vivel's son. Like, yeah, 100%. SESKO there be land. No more watching one every week. So mean. We need this. Yeah, Brighton have set an asking price. Yeah, I've seen that. All right, but now that he's landed for real though, I gotta go. I really do. I gotta go. I love chatting with you guys, but I need to go. I need to get ready, and I'm not gonna be ready, and I gotta be ready, so I gotta go. I love you all. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for everybody that has smashed the like button. And shout out to all of you for being here for like I don't even know how long it's been, 3.5 hour stream. Respect for waiting until land. I keep my word, and I said I'd do it. So, enjoy your rave. I will. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So, I will be safe. Don't worry about that. I always am precautioned. But shout out to you guys. Thank you for, just the support on the channel and, just everything. And great discussion as always. And we'll see each other, soon. Tomorrow ain't gonna happen, as far as I anticipate. It's not gonna happen. So Saturday might be tough. Maybe a Sunday. Maybe a Sunday. We'll see. If not, then sometime next week. I'll keep you guys posted in the Discord, which is the easiest place. So if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord, or at the very least, if you're not in the Discord, just have the notification. Hit the bell icon. So when I do decide to go live, you'll get notified that we go live. But other than that, everybody have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching from. Thank you. Shout out all of you. And everybody stay safe, be good. SESKO is here. He's here. And now we move. We move to the midfield and then hopefully the goalkeeper. But other than that, take care. I'll speak to you all very soon. Be very good. And have a good night. Thank you.